Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this, my second channel, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the Flat Earth Debate pre-show and after-show goodness. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below the video. Now, we are halfway through the show, so there is a panel who are already chatting away happily, so I'll pass over to them while I set up for the second live show.
That's okay. We can still clear it up.
It will be rebroadcasted later today.
We will be live again in the next 2 or 3 minutes. The show will go on.
It sounds like I got a lot of clearing up to do.
Is this the guy you were just talking about, Ranty, with regards to the flight?
Oh, yeah.
It is, yeah.
Cool. I'll go and get my popcorn.
Hey, I would love for this guy to explain his situation, because from what I can see, that the bet was won. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the idea of what he was trying to do, and I appreciate it. I do realise that, yes, they will never be able to fly those routes, but that wasn't the fucking terms of the bet, mate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't. The original bet didn't include that.
Did you read the description?
I did, yeah, but you changed that, mate.
I didn't change that.
Yeah, you did. You changed it after.
Dude, I don't even know how to change the description. I do my description one time only. I've never changed anything. That's on everything I love.
Yeah, you did, man. I saw it. I mean,
oh, really?
I was past it. You know, I mean,
let me guess,
I watch a lot
ranty,
of stuff.
Right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. No,
and listen, I'm not
a real flat earther.
Okay. Well, I'm not actually getting on your case over this, but I would do simply because you call me a Freemason when that's kind of out of the blue. You know, I mean, I don't think anybody on this panel actually thinks that I'm a Freemason.
Did I say, are you a Freemason? Or did I say, I know you're a Freemason from some lodge?
Why would you bring up the term Freemason in the first place? Why would your first comment on my
Freemasons are because Freemasons are fucking notorious for fucking having a secret. Okay.
So what secret do you think I have?
Well, I don't think you have much of a secret. It's pretty much in plain sight. Your videos show that you're not a flat earther, man. There's like your last test where you did the egg representing conspiracy cats and all that on the
it shows the diffraction, yeah.
Yeah, like I've done the same thing, except for I didn't even need a whole track. I just did it within 15 feet using a little cement platform or patio. So how could you not do it using an entire football field? Or why didn't you go longer?
Well, I don't know.
Why
maybe
actually make it happen.
Well, considering I did it live, maybe I did it with CGI live. Maybe I had sort of like some kind of special effects team behind me that was editing the actual results. What do you think?
No, I'm talking seriously, bro. Like, how come you didn't do it right?
Do it right? How can I not do it right? I put the
way
down
you did it.
How should I? Tell me how I should have done it. Go on.
Oh, well, obviously you should have brought the camera down to the perspective of an ant, say, instead of like an ant on the Empire State Building.
So the fact that the camera was on the floor,
it wasn't the perspective of an ant.
I see. You wanted me to dig the track up and put the camera inside the track. Why didn't you?
Well, if you want to bring the middle of the camera down to the view of the perspective of an ant, yeah, you're gonna have to bring that. You're gonna have to bring that middle of the camera down to that perspective somehow.
Well, I'll tell you what. Next time I go, I'll ask them if I can dig the track up and stick the camera in a hole.
Or you could be a little bit smarter than the average bear and just put a waterproof camera halfway submerged. Or you could even do it the way that I did.
What if he doesn't have a waterproof camera? What are you talking about?
Use your cell phone and use a crack in a cement.
I did. I'm guessing you haven't seen any of my work.
I've seen enough.
Have you?
That was enough for me, honestly. That last video you made, really. Like I looked all the way to your first video. Your first video that you ever made on that channel.
Show me your show me some of your evidence. Show me some of your evidence.
Yeah, I got my whole channel. My channel's going to stand for itself.
Channel of what? There's nothing on there.
There's plenty of fucking others. It's not a magic lighter. That's
a lot of staring. There's a lot
right there.
There's a lot of staring. There's a lot of drooling. There's a lot of what looks like drug paraphernalia hanging around all over the place.
I'm a stoner, dog. Like, what's your reasoning for calling me a tweaker? Like, what are you talking shit on a fucking flat earther for? If you're a flat earther, like, there's plenty of ballers out there talking shit on us.
Matt, you literally sent so many trolls over to Wolfie's account. You put his subscriber. You got his subscriber count up from 8,000 to over 40,000 by your ridiculous challenge.
How
your ridiculous challenge. You did more for the globe than you've ever done for the ball. For the flat.
How is that? It doesn't matter how many subs they get, dog. That doesn't matter.
Oh, does it not? Because then the
truth of it is,
yeah, and the thing is,
dude.
People like
let them get their subs. Let them fucking have their fucking moment of glory. We're gonna have the fucking time, the test of time stand on our side. I got no worries about their sub fucking count, bro.
Yeah, you'll be long gone, man. In a year's time,
maybe I will. But the truth will stand.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal and crypto link in the info box below this video. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Jose, Flat Earth Ranty, or Ranty Flat Earth, Sleeping Warrior, Flat Earth Hero, Flatten Earth. Yeah. Got loads of Flat Earths in these titles. Chocolate Saiyan, Arwin, and Alan. Good to have you all.
Keep it
flat out hero, not Flat Earth hero. But...
My bad, flat out hero.
Also known as another Awake Souls or Limitless channel.
Maybe. Anyway, please share the show. It's good to have you all.
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Do you have footage on your page?
Yeah.
All right.
What
is it? Flat Out Hero? Is that your name?
FOH.
Flat Out Heroine.
Copy that.
Right, I'm gonna have a look for his work that he's done. Have a look at all his evidences. No, I don't see any. Maybe you could present your best flat Earth proof. How about that?
Sure. Which one you want? You can see Copernicus. Well, I'm saying you can see Copernicus crater with your bare eyes, but the moon's supposed to be 210,000 miles away when we can't even make out the Andes mountain range, the largest mountain range on Earth, which is 4,300 miles long and 300 miles wide from the freaking ISS satellite, which is only 300 miles high. That's a little bit of a discrepancy, I would think. I mean, and then there's
ISS?
The ISS live feed.
Oh,
dear me.
What?
The ISS live feed, the International Space Station.
Yeah.
The live feed from that. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Oh. Unless you use optics if you want to zoom in or whatever, but every time I see it, it's only clouds and water.
So, have you actually done any experimentation on your own?
Yeah, check out my no, it's not a magic lighter video.
Right, hang on.
Wait, so just so that I'm not confused, you are a flat earther.
I am true blue flat earther, 100%. Yeah.
Okay, so my question is, what is your problem with what Ranty is doing?
Well, my problem with what Ranty did his last experiment was he did an experiment utilizing even longer distance than I did, and I just did mine in a back patio where he had a whole track that he could have easily demonstrated that the horizon. Well, you can make the horizon swallow up anything from if you lower your perspective, but he didn't lower his perspective like deep and low enough. And then he lets everybody, conspiracy cats and everybody, just clown the hell out of us, and then makes everybody fucking think that we didn't come through with that part of experiment when that's been done so many times, so many ways. Like if you didn't see it, you haven't done enough research to be doing that experiment live stream, man. What the fuck are you doing?
I see. So the fact, like I say, that I couldn't actually dig up the track and get the camera lens to the height of the track, that kind of.
Then don't use the track. Hello.
Well, can you find somewhere that is 100 meters stretch that?
Yeah, fucking. You don't have to use 100 meters, dude. Use a swimming pool. Bring your cameras down to the horizon. Bring the horizon up to you.
Okay, so how do you get into a swimming pool with a P900 or a P1000?
Put it in a freaking waterproof case.
Right, I see. So you want me to get a waterproof case? What else do you want me to do? Go into a swimming pool?
No, I want you to do the experiment.
Hang on, wait a minute.
Every other flat earther has done it.
Wait a minute. So how do I get into a swimming pool when nobody else is in it? So I've got to go when it's closed. Is this what you're saying? Wait for the water to settle down. Get in the water. Wait for the water to settle down. Do some kind of experiment across a what? A 30-foot stretch
that
of water?
fucking difficult, bro. Use a fucking cement slab.
Hey,
Use a
physics
cement
warrior.
slab and put your phone in a fucking crack like I did, dog.
No swearing, please. No swearing.
Huh?
Man,
no, bring the perspective up to the camera, bro. You can bring that perspective all the way up, like within a couple of feet.
So your problem is that Ranty is not doing the same exact experiments that you're doing.
Oh, not at all, man. He's doing a live stream claiming to be proving flat Earth using an experiment.
So your problem is Ranty's not doing the same exact experiments that you're doing.
No, it's other flat earthers have done it successfully, man. He's the only one that failed it that I know of.
Right. Okay. So your achievements this year have been what?
Shit. Other than fucking destroying the globe with my fucking $100,000 and $200,000 fucking challenge that nobody has been able to do. Not much.
Okay, so, stop the damn swearing, dude. Please.
So you haven't paid up for the first part of that.
Who am I supposed to pay?
Whoever won the competition, the outright competition, did it first.
Who is that?
Some people say that it was Wolfie. Some people say it was somebody else.
I've addressed that in videos.
Okay, so maybe you should just divvy it up between them.
Well, no, I've addressed that no one has done it in videos.
What?
I've addressed that nobody has completed the challenge in videos. Now I've moved on to the $200,000 challenge.
Actually, you did agree that the challenge was met. You even did a live stream saying that, congrats, Wolfie, you did it! Exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Now for the final part of the challenge. Now, there
because
wasn't
he didn't do it.
No, just let me confirm something now. There wasn't a final part of the challenge. That wasn't included. You added that after the original challenge.
There was nothing different. There was nothing different. I did not add that, dude. No matter what you want to say, dog, I never added that later, dude. That is completely fucking the very first day that I fucking published that. That is the same thing that I never changed. I don't even know how to go back and do that, but I never.
Please, can you not swear? Just try not to swear. Hold on. Like, try not to swear. Try not to swear, please.
Hang on. So you don't know how to change a description. But you
no, I've never done that at all.
But wait a minute. But you've debunked the ball Earth.
Yeah, pretty much. It was a lot easier than that. Yeah.
But you don't know how to change the description, right? Okay.
Pretty much,
and you've got £100,000 to pay these people, yeah.
No, I've got $1,000 a month, which you would have known if you had watched my. You didn't read the description. You didn't watch my videos. You don't know nothing about me, but you're lying about me. See, that's what tells me that you are not a flat earther.
I'm asking you. You said that the bet was the challenge was 100,000.
Yeah,
I knew you said that they would pay 1,000. And other people.
So what are you saying that for, dude?
Other people have said that why don't you drop to 500 and just pay up and at least sort of make some kind of.
Good. You're acting like it's being solved yet, but nobody solved it.
No, nobody actually did the flight route within the plane.
Nobody proved that it can be. Nobody plotted it and did it
Yeah,
from
they
a
did.
place that can be proven as flyable.
You've
They
even
don't
got
have
a
to take me. You don't
live
have.
stream
He
up there.
doesn't have to take me out on an airplane unless he wants to use a restricted area. If he's gonna use a restricted area, yeah, two can play that game. You want to word salad me and try to like manipulate your way around the rules, dude. It's a ball. It should be able to be plotted from anywhere. Yes, he did the right flight path. If you look at the way that his flight path went, it is an unfinished square. Yes, he did that much, but he tried to say that the whole bottom line of the map and the whole top line of the map were one single point. If he wants to play that game, I said fine, but you still have to prove that it is flyable, and it is not flyable.
Well, you know that Wolfie now has 42,000 subscribers, don't you?
I don't care what he has, dude, and you shouldn't either, bro. We have truth on our side. If you are a flat earther, if you're really worried about a popularity contest, dude, like
nothing to do with this.
enjoy
Nothing to
that
do with
shit.
that.
That's on you. Like I'm here for something else.
Wait, let me just be quite clear with that. You see the amount of trolling you have on your shit channel, which has no content, right? When people like myself, who has real content and real important content, suddenly gets inundated with all those trolls that you brought to Wolfie, right, who are now going to come and descend on channels like mine with real evidence out there, it's us that are going to get the brunt of your stupidity, because all that information will be buried under a shitstorm of negativity by the trolls that you brought in with your ridiculous challenge.
Oh well,
I agree.
That's on you, dude. Like if you can't deal with it, then you shouldn't be.
That's nothing to do with that. You're on about doing putting
it's not
things
me
to the
bringing
masses.
trolls, bro.
So
I
at the end
presented
of the
a challenge.
day, you expect to see if you have a decent video out there and it has nice people commenting, you will read the comments and you will learn from that. When all you have is the trolls that you will bring in from your challenge, people from Wolfie, people from Simon Dan, people from Conspiracy Cats, who they're kind of trolls that will come to channels like mine and leave their horrible comments on. It's that will turn people away from Flat Earth. You've done more for the Ball Earth than you've done for Flat Earth. I am telling you now. And if you had any decency, you would hold your hands up, tell them that you messed up. You didn't really have it. You can't afford to pay them, and let's just draw a line underneath it. Because do you know something? Do you know something? They would appreciate you more than that, and I would, and so would everybody else. At least if you held your hands up and was honest about it.
Aside from you, I want to hear what everybody else thinks about it. Like I understand that there's a lot of perceptions going on, but does aside from Ranty, is it my fault that the challenge that I brought to light is causing all of this subscribers to go over to Woofy, or causing all this drama to come over to Ranty's channel? Like how is that my fault that I presented a challenge that is unbeatable, and you admit that you know it can't be done? You just said that you understand the point of my challenge. So what are you?
I understand the point of the challenge, but you didn't include that in the point of the actual challenge.
You say
the
that.
money.
You say that, but that's not true. And
that's not just.
I'll figure out a way to prove that if I can.
That's what thousands of other people say as well. I mean, it's not just me.
You're right. There's a bunch of people lying about me right now, dude. You're absolutely right about that. So if you're gonna join, join that crew just because they're agreeing with
well, listen to me. Just let me say one last thing before, and then I just want to change the subject on this. But one thing you will realize about me if you ever look through my work or speak to me or know anybody that talks to me is I don't lie. So I just don't lie. I mean, I'm too honest for my own good, and that's just the way.
That's a lie right there. You just lie.
What? Because I am very honest with what I do.
Because you said you don't lie.
Well, I don't.
You said that you don't lie.
I don't. Am I lying now? Am I lying now to you? No.
I didn't say that you're lying, but to say that you don't lie is a lie. Am I wrong, or are you perfect, bro?
I wouldn't say I'm perfect, no.
Then what are you saying?
I am pretty honest. I am pretty honest, my friend. Unlike you, who deliberately moves the goalposts. You've moved the goalposts. Yes, you have. You've lied.
The challenge is as public.
Gents. Right, shut up. Guys, shush.
Stop the Welsh fist slapping, please.
Right. For those that have not seen the video, the original video, can you tell us what the challenge was?
Yeah, absolutely. The challenge is to take flight charts, to piece together flight charts and make a map of the world that will end in a Mercator style issue. The Mercator style map is what the gist of what I was getting at. It's what I said in my first challenge to Woofy and the other one to Simon and Dan. I didn't include the Mercator style part in the official one, but the original challenge was to take flight charts, piece them together, and then using those flight charts, which don't account for curvature, but take those flight charts, travel any distance you like from point A to point B, go to point B, make a 90-degree angle turn, travel the same distance you traveled from point A to point B, and then make another 90-degree angle turn, and then travel the same distance you travel the first 2 legs and return home. If you were on a ball, you could do it. If you cannot do it, then the Earth is flat. And that's been the whole challenge the whole time.
And they did it. They mapped it out on the. They mapped it out on the maps. They placed.
Wait, who did? Who did?
Wolfie.
Okay, which time? The first one or the second one?
Whichever. Well, when you changed it and then said that you had to do it on this type
the
of
first.
app,
if you think you did
you
it
then
the
changed
first
it to
time,
electronic. You changed it to electronic and said this is okay. So he used
electronic's fine.
map.
That's fine. I never said anything about electronic. I said that you could not use fucking. Or sorry, guys. I said that you had to use pieced together flight charts. That has a context. That means that I was saying it in reference to when I used the word chart, flight chart. I had the noun definition that fits to that means a sheet or a sheet. It's the definition has the word sheet in it, and sheet also has a definition. It is a piece of paper. You have to use the context that I used the word in, and I used it perfectly right. Like the flight charts must be pieced together. Now,
So
how in the world are you going to piece together a computer program that already does it for you, supposedly?
Can we play one of your videos, literally?
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay, right, Anthony, please, can you just play this video? It's only 1 minute 30 long. I'm just going to put it in the side chat now. This is what he uploaded.
The sound won't come through, Ranty, if I play it.
All right, Nathan, could you do that, please?
Well, hang on. Just before you do that, let me ask a question.
Yeah.
The bit I saw, and I'm not saying this is good, bad, or the ugly, or whatever. I'm just asking. When Wolfie was typing in the coordinates or whatever it was he was typing in on that keypad that was inside that plane cockpit, is that doing what you asked him to do?
Not at all. Is that right now what I just said is exactly what I asked, and that's all I've ever asked.
That was my gut reaction when I saw him typing in the coordinates on that system that he was plugging in.
Where does that come from?
I did not think that he was doing. The way I saw that, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but he looked like he was plugging in coordinates on an electronic system rather than doing a map that was based on paper. That was the way I saw it.
Exactly. That's my thoughts exactly.
And that doesn't mean I agree or disagree with anybody.
The challenge is my question. That has another.
Based on what I saw, I didn't think that he'd done what he was supposed to have done. But
right, Nathan, could you just play that video for me, please, in the chat? He's giving permission.
Yeah, I can do. Give me a second.
By the way, I'd like to say a few of you guys on the panel, I got a lot of respect for you, Nathan. Thanks a lot for bringing the flat earth debate to everybody. Just like to, pay my respect to everybody else other than Ranty, except for Ranty. Maybe if you have done some work,
Yeah, you got it. You got the concept. You got the idea. Yeah. You plotted it. Bravo. So now it's time to prove it. You got your own personal plane? You want to just pick me up on one of your trips? Am I gonna have to spend $100,000? Prove it's flyable. Maybe I will. Pick me up. Take me on that flight. Prove for the entire world, once and for all, flat earth is true or not. I'll charge my camera. I don't think we'll end up where we started. I could be wrong. Prove it. Pack my bags.
Yeah, because he wants to go from Antarctica. If he doesn't want to do it from Antarctica, if he wants to plot it anywhere else, that's fine. We can prove it's flyable or not. The only reason we have to go, he has to pick me up for that one is because he wants to use a restricted area.
So I played the video. It didn't detail anything, and it says information on the challenge in the
info box. That was my response to Wolfie. I don't know what you're trying to.
Yeah, Nathan. What it is after the original challenge was set, where he had to plot 3 points and then come back same distances apart and end up back at the same place. Wolfie completed that, and this guy, sorry, I don't know your name, but I'll just say Flat Out Hero.
Flat Out Hero.
put out hero, agreed, congrats, Wolfie, you did it, right? So he agrees that that part of the challenge was met. He does a live stream about it, and then he releases it, right? So that was the original terms of the original challenge. That was it.
Well,
there wasn't fly it. There was that.
You got to read the description. You got to read the description. That's not even the original challenge. The original challenge was I was responding to his. He had already answered the original challenge. I was responding to his answer. That was his second entry. I already that's way.
So
later,
was that the second time you moved the goalpost? Then okay.
No, not at all. Like that's what I'm saying. The second time, I just referred back to the original description, the original challenge that I published. In the description, it said it has to be proven that it was viable.
Right, guys, I think, are we not missing the point? The point is that you can't do 3 90-degree turns on a ball and get back to where you started off, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know it can't be flown. We know this, but he didn't put that in the actual challenge.
That's what the challenge was, bro.
No, it was to map it out, mate. You never said
to map it out. Absolutely, yeah, map it out because
so
it
he
can't
mapped
be
it out. He mapped it out, but he never said
he did
it.
Not the first time and not the second time. The second time he mapped it out correctly, yeah, but he used the unrestricted area. The first time he just used the flight chart app, whatever his computer program that he did. That's not what the challenge was. It was to piece together flight charts. That's not piece.
I agree with Ranty in this one.
Okay, like
well, how can you agree with Ranty when you've not heard the original claim that he put in the video?
Yeah. Honestly.
I seen the original challenge. I seen the response from Wolfie the first time. He said, "All right, this guy made a challenge and he played the video." And then Wolfie say, "Right now we don't use the charts we use is this type of electronic whatever." He went through the whole shenanigans. He say, "I do this distance and then I turn 90 degrees, then I do this," and he completed the challenge. Period. I mean, whether you like it or not, that's the way I see it.
He did not use flight charts and piece them together in order to complete it. How are you going to say that he did? You have to use flight charts, which are paper flight charts. Like
he doesn't have to say that you did it because we've just seen the video where you agree that he did it. We just watched it. Congrats, Wolfie, you did it. We actually just see you admit it.
Now you did. If you play that video, you'll see that the flight route that they plotted out was the correct one. It's an unfinished square. So yeah, he did that part. But if you do that anywhere else on the ball, you end up where that unfinished square ends you up. You don't end up at square one.
That's the question. Was he meant to fly the route or not?
No, he doesn't have to fly a route. Nobody has to fly anything. Unless he wants to start from Antarctica. If you want to go from a restricted zone and play and cheat on it, yeah, like I'm gonna ask for some ridiculous shit too, dude. You're gonna ask me to accept a ridiculous claim that the whole bottom line of that map is 1 point and the whole top of that map is 1 point. Then fine, you're gonna have to prove that's viable, as I said in the description of that challenge video, which if you will see through comments and everything, like dude, that's been a set thing. Like it has to be proven to be viable. That's you can say that I edited that or whenever afterwards or whatever, but no, like if you look back and see comments from that, I have been saying that has to be proven viable since day one, dude.
So is your point that the fact that he's typed it in on the computer thing doesn't mean it's viable?
Well, no, because that's not part of the challenge. You have to use flight charts and piece them together. That's the main key that everybody's missing right there is you have to piece flight charts together yourself, lay them out flat, piece them together.
And how does that make a difference?
Well, because if they're flat flight charts and they're not malleable like through software, if you have a straight flat, then there's on a flight chart one of those flight charts is gonna contain the South Pole, not the bottom line of a bunch of them put together. If you use paper flight charts, one of them is going to have the South Pole. And so then if you make that flight path and you plot it out, it's going to end you up on a completely different flight chart come somewhere in Timbuktu. You're not going to be at square one. That's the point of paper ones, because it cements, it solidifies your where you are if you're going to plot a course. If you use the malleable,
To be honest, I think that the fact that you've done it on some computer thing, and I think that is actually a fair point. I don't know whether I've understood it correctly, but based on what I've heard so far, if you ask for it on paper charts and he's done it electronically, he hasn't done what you have.
Thank you. Like, I mean, that's my whole point.
That doesn't mean I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying.
I understand. You're right.
Based on what I've heard so far, it sounds as though he hasn't done what you said he needed to do.
Absolutely. That is exactly what my point. Like it has to be done on paper flight charts, because if you use paper flight charts, one of those paper flight charts will contain the South Pole. There's not going to be a whole bunch of them that are some arbitrary point. Like, no, it's going to be one single spot on a whole. If you piece together every flight chart, it forms a picture of the Earth. One of those is going to have the South Pole, not a bunch of them. And you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to end up at one.
Let me ask, what did he say or do when you said you haven't done it with paper charts?
Well, everybody called me a liar. Everybody said that I'm moving the goalpost.
Sorry. What did Wolfie say when you said you haven't done it the way I asked?
Same thing. He said fine, but he said fine, because Flat Out Heroes moving goalposts, I'm gonna do it his way, and he still didn't. He said that he was gonna use because I even made a clarifying video where I showed, like, here's a little southwest portion of the United States where it shows the southwest portion of the United States, and I said that's an acceptable type of flight chart. That's what I'm talking about. These type of flight charts. It can be anyone that is similar to this. Like, I didn't specify a ratio even, because there's a bunch of ratios that don't account for curvature. There's just flight charts generally don't. Like, I don't know of any that actually, they say that they're based on a conic projection or whatever, but I don't see where any of them is actually based on a sphere, or can be laid out and pieced together to form a sphere. I just don't see that happening. So I said flight charts. Like, if I'm wrong about some flight charts can be pieced together to form that, someone correct me, someone show me that those are. But so
I get it. So Ranty, would you really didn't do it with charts?
He did it from a mobile app. This Flat Out Hero showed an app on the phone and said, "This is the type of chart that I am looking for." And then Wolfie took that up.
Sorry, I just clarify. I didn't show an app. I showed a picture of a flight chart, what the printed out version looks like. I wasn't showing that this app or this website could be used. I didn't say anything like that. I said, here is an agreeable flight chart, and he showed an entire map of like half the world, at least, if not more. It was like a big picture of the world, but the whole top of it was the North Pole, supposedly. The whole bottom of it is the South Pole, 1 point and 1 point. Like that, if you're to use pieced out flight charts, that completely negates any of that. It's one of those flight charts will contain one of those points.
Okay, so I think it's been diced out enough for me to bring clarity to both positions. So Ranty's objection that it's been mapped isn't strictly accurate on account of the fact that you're specifically asking for it to be shown on a flight path, i.e. the chart they use to fly that route. Now, based on that, I'm sorry, Ranty, I've got to agree with him, because
Wolfie has done it on a flight chart, as you've just said. He's done it on a flight path.
That wasn't a flight chart. That was a map. But I even accepted it. I said that's fine. Like, I more than met him in the middle. I said, fine, map that out, doing the same plot, the course that you plotted. But if the Earth is a ball, you should be able to do it from anywhere in the world. Map the same flight course, flight route from anywhere else in the world. It's not restricted, so that we can see that flights actually can go in those plotted flight courses.
Yeah, we know he can't fly it. We know that.
Right.
We know it can't be flown. But
and it can't be plotted.
It can still be plotted.
No.
Because this is what the ball does. It's kind of it will say to you that this is what you can do.
I'm with Ranty now.
That's why I said specifically flight charts pieced together. They don't form a ball.
Yeah. But you still don't get it, do you?
I agree.
No. If that's what he's originally said, I mean, I don't know anything about this. I'm just taking, based on what he said here, he's saying flight charts. Specifically, the charts they use to actually fly. So therefore, when you've said, oh, well, he said now fly it, no, that's not necessarily his position. He's saying, I want to see it on the actual chart that's used to fly and piece those together. Now, if they're used to fly, there's obviously a flight that goes over that route because it's a flight chart. Therefore, piecing together those would give you the actual journey that those flights took. So to say, well, you've got to fly it isn't necessarily what he's saying. Am I correct?
Right. Thank you.
I'm kind of with Nathan in when thinking, I'm not sure why it's accepted that what Wolfie demonstrated inside the plane with the electronic thing is acceptable, that he did what was challenged, because that was my gut reaction when I saw it. That's not what he was asked for.
Yeah, I only accepted it because he showed the correct, it forms an unfinished square. But the only part that wasn't acceptable is the fact that he did it from a restricted area. If he tries to plot that course on anywhere else on that map that he used, he can't do it. That unfinished square starting and ending anywhere else on that map is obviously going to be 2 separate points. That's why I accepted it.
I'm with ranting only because in the beginning, if you guys are actually saying if it doesn't work anyway, and actually creating this type of a bet and making this offer, I find it disingenuous. So I'm siding with ranting.
I mean, honestly, Ranty, if you're a flat earther, bro, and like I've been mistaken on that, then we can find middle ground on this, bro. Because like I apologize completely if I spoke out of turn on you. Like I honestly thought for sure that you had to have been a baller trying to act like you were a flat earther, because I did not see any way that you could fail that thing. My bad if you really did and you were just on a live stream. I didn't take any of that into account. I could have been speaking off the cuff. I apologize for that. But we can find middle ground on this, bro. Like, if you agree that it cannot be done in reality, and you know that obviously, like, my challenge brings that to light, then can you at least?
Well, I know that it can't be. I'm with you. I know what you was trying to do. It was very clever. I knew exactly what you was doing. But from my point of view, the original term of the challenge was met. Even though I knew in your mind that you probably wanted to say, well, now go and prove it, now fly those routes because you won't be able to do it. I understood that. But from my position, from what I've seen, is that it seems that the original challenge was made, it was met, and then you changed the goalposts. That's what
you still think
Francie, when you say it was met, do you mean that he used flight charts to do it, or do you mean that he used it on the computer of some kind?
I think some people have used charts. I mean, I'm not just saying Wolfie. I think other people have done it on charts as well.
MC Tune is the only other entry that I had, except for one other person. I can't really remember them, but they had their angles were wrong too. MC Tune, you can even see like I've talked to MC Tune almost daily. He knows that he made every angle that he made was not 90 degrees. He said that he had to do that in order to make it fit on the airports, but I told him, look, if you try to mess with that angle at all, it has to be a perfect 90-degree angle so that the courses are parallel to each other. When you're going down the back stretch, like on the last leg of the journey, if you alter any of those turns just even 1/2 of a degree, at some point those lines will intersect. It can only work if you use exact 90-degree angles, and no one's been able to use 90-degree angles on the flight charts, obviously.
To be honest, I see your point.
Thank you. Like, yeah. I
mean, don't get me wrong. I see the point. I'm not disagreeing with his challenge. As in, this cannot be done. I agree with this, but the way he's gone about it with the changing the goalposts, which is what I feel's happened. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you've got a different opinion. I have my own opinion about it, but I just feel that the original challenge was met. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, but the original challenge said paper charts, right? Flight paths.
Right, flight charts. Piece them together.
Right.
What's that? There was nothing pieced together about Wolfie's original or his second one either. But
so, Ranty, then the question is, why do you think that it's been achieved then if he didn't do that?
Who? Because
Wolfie.
You've just seen the congratulation video where this fly out hero says, "Congratulations, Wolfie, you did it." He then goes on to say, now prove it, now fly that route. So essentially, he's already agreed and said that the conditions of the original challenge were met. If you read if you listen to the video that I asked Nathan to play.
Yeah, if you listen to the video, like I thought I was pretty obvious in my sarcasm that, that I would have to pay for him. That he did not complete it. That he had to complete it. Number one, by proving it's viable, but number two, like he didn't even use flight charts again that time. But I accepted it. If he makes that flight path anywhere else in the world, if Earth is a ball, he should be able to do it from anywhere. It just to say that he can only do it from the North Pole or the South Pole is ridiculous. Like if it's a ball, it's uniform. Like no matter where you are, you should be able to make that flight path.
Okay, so shout out to bear with me. Sorry, shout out to Gleam in the chat who's advised me to pop this on. I've no idea why. So Mucktoon paper chart submission to Flat Out Heroes $100,000 challenge. So presumably you've seen this, right?
Oh, I've never seen this one.
So is this as described a paper chart submission?
How old is this? How many days ago?
So maybe Gleam can help me out with the relevant point why I'm playing this, because I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't see a flight path mapped on it either.
So you say you have seen this?
I no, I don't recognize it. I'm only seeing a still frame of a picture.
Oh, right.
Of a flight.
He's saying, okay, Gleam says he has seen this. It's the paper one where the angles are not 90 degree exactly. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's that one. Yeah, you can see from his angles they're way off. Like, I mean, it's not hard to see that at all.
Okay.
He agrees. He knows that. He says that he had to do that in order to make it fit airports. And I told him that it doesn't have to fit an airport. It just has to be over flyable space, like, you know, somewhere that we know flights actually go. You know. You see, it's.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is that once you concede that the challenge, that part of the challenge has been met, and I know you wanted to move it forward by getting them to say go and fly it because you know it wouldn't happen, but once you agreed that the challenge had been met and that this map had been mapped out as you originally said, once you concede that, you know, going back on it. That's
not what I conceded. That's not what I conceded. Like, if you watch the video, you'll see that I did not concede that he completed the challenge. I conceded that he plotted the correct course. Like, yeah, it makes an unfinished square. Like, if you make that unfinished square, put it anywhere else on the ball, you're not going to be right where you started. Like, he completed part of it. Like, I didn't say that he completed the whole challenge. Never once did I. I've never conceded it at all. Like, I did that as sarcasm. I said it like that as sarcasm, like sarcasm completely, dude. Yeah, you did it. You mapped it, but now
because you can't do that with the Globers. You can't give them any concessions. They don't concede an effing thing to us, us flat earthers at all, ever, at any point in time. Now, once you concede to them, that's it. Essentially, that's it. It's game over. And that's the rules that they play by. That's the
no, like my inbox was getting inundated, like literally inundated with hashtag pay Wolfie, this, that, yada, yada, yada. Ever since I've released my $200,000 challenge, bro, it's been bone dry almost, bro. Like, I've gotten so people trying to respond about it. Like, it shut everybody down. Like, in my second challenge, I made the second challenge specifically to incorporate the fact that Wolfie's flight app, it is little, computer program that supposedly is a bunch of flight charts. That app is claiming to do something that is physically impossible. It is taking the most accurate maps that we have, i.e., like road maps or non-curvature based maps that we can get from address to address, and saying that they're able to put them onto a ball without having gaps or wrinkles, which is obviously physically impossible. And that's why my second challenge is that if you can make road maps pieced together, which you can piece them together, lay them out flat on a table, you can piece them together fine. There's no problem. You can piece them together seamlessly. But if you try to piece them together on a ball, which the app claims to do, it's impossible. So if anybody can show me them doing what the flight app claims to be able to do, then I will give them $200,000. And if they can map the original turn 90 degrees thing, if they can do that, I'll give them another $50,000 on top of that, which I will. Like, if anybody can do that, I will. That would blow my mind if you could do that. That's literally impossible. So that's why it shut everybody down. That's why I've gotten nobody really even hashtag pay Wolfie that much anymore. There's a couple stragglers, but I can list them on my hands, 2 hands, which is down from hundreds of people saying pay Wolfie this and that. Like, it's cemented, put in stone that his flight app is saying that it can do something impossible.
It seems to me, and this is just to me, that you made the challenge. And then Wolfie's translated what you said into his current lingo, because it's not used in electronic. It's not using paper charts anymore. It's used in electronic data, and I think he's converted that into electronic data. Claim victory, and I would describe that personally as akin to a levels experiment.
Sorry, you broke up on that. I didn't hear what you said.
Did everybody?
Yeah,
see what I said?
He said it would be the Bedford levels experiment.
It seems to me that the challenge was to do it with the paper charts. It wasn't done with paper charts. It appears that Wolfie's translated the challenge into modern formats to be able to do the challenge and then claim victory the way Wallace did in the Bedford Levels experiment. But that doesn't mean that he's complied with the term.
Yep. Exactly. Like he's trying to make it conform to a ball, which I specifically said it can be mapped on a ball, and that's what.
But today's date, in this time and era, does anybody fly with paper charts, or does everybody use electronic charts?
No, like if you're a visual flight, if you're a small, like not a commercial air like pilot, but if you're just a regular private plane owning person, you're using VFRs, visual flight. I forget what the R stands for, but yeah, they're definitely in use today, and they're as accurate as they always have been.
So just in a one sentence, the challenge was to do it with paper charts, and it was to make 3 turns at 90 degrees. And if it's on a ball, what happens? And if it's on a plane, what happens?
Well, it's 2, not 3. You have to make 2 90-degree turns and then travel the same distance and be home. But if you're on a ball, you can make the 2 90-degree turns and you'll be right back at square one. If you're not on a ball, though, you make an unfinished square, which is what Wolfie plotted on his second entry. You can that unfinished square, though, if you were to use flight charts, right where he started, that would be the flight chart that contained the South Pole. If you had used flight charts, there's no way that he can say that the South Pole is also over here on the other side of the world where he claims that the South Pole is also at. That's why I said specifically use flight charts.
To be honest, it seems that you got a point. To be honest,
Thank you.
I can see both I can see both sides. I can see what Ranty's saying on the one hand, but I also see that he didn't do what was challenged in that he didn't do it with flight charts. He did it with somewhat looks like GPS coordinate-based navigation. And asked for. I don't know if there's a difference between the two, but I can see that he didn't do what was asked.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah, there's
of course
definitely
there's a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the
GPS is model based. The location system is model based.
I know. I can anticipate what it probably is, but what I'm saying is that the point was to piece it together with the flight charts. That's my understanding of it. And if that wasn't done, it seems that Wolfie's translated that challenge into his modern day lingo. Because I remember when he said it in his video, he said something like, "We don't use paper charts anymore. This is what we actually use." And he punched it in, and I thought that's not actually what he was asking you to do, because basically I agree that software literally can make it appear as though you're on a sphere, but it could actually be using a flat map. And I get the point he's making. It's like, well, I don't know enough about it, but based on what you've just said, it sounds as though Wolfie didn't do what was challenged of him.
No, not at all. No one has.
Well, Nathan, what do you think based on what you've heard?
Sleeping.
He's falling asleep. He's falling asleep, boys.
About right. No. Didn't mean to bore everybody.
And to be honest, I reckon that Wolfie would be able to get hold of the flight charts that you're asking for, because even though they don't use them in big jets anymore, they would still use them on smaller stuff, and I'm pretty sure you should be able to get hold of them.
Yeah, you can print them out online. MC Toon, he printed out a bunch of them, I believe, or he may have actually bought a few. But what's funny about flight charts that are visual flight charts, like there's even MC Toon couldn't find certain flight charts. They're missing, which is really, really odd to me that there should be missing parts of the map. Like if they're visual flight charts, like if you're supposed to be able to see all this, like how are there some of them missing? Like maybe he just couldn't find them, but I just thought that was funny because that would fit together with the fact that you're going to have gaps if you try to piece them together on a ball.
I think the more interesting point is when Flatter Hero say that Ranty has no content and he's not proving anything.
I apologize for that. If I spoke out of turn, which I'm guessing I did, like I'll say that I obviously did speak out of turn. Like I seriously didn't know that Ranty was a flat earther, so I do apologize. I put it out there. That was my bad. Whatever I gotta say to get that strike off my record. Like I literally thought that you were trying to act like flat out, like pretending to be a flat earther. So my apologies. Like
I'll retract the method statement then.
Thanks, man. I'm a stoner.
Remember your flat earther oath.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but hey, when you really get down to basics, though, like that challenge, like I mean, I didn't come up with that on my own. I came up with that based on instant from someone who is actually a baller trying to say the same thing, but he was saying that, you know, look, with this, you couldn't make 2 turns at 90-degree angles and then be back at home if it wasn't a ball. But then I was looking at it through flat Earth eyes, like, well, wait, Earth isn't a ball, so how could that? And then I started thinking about it, and yeah, lo and behold, that is one of the biggest cement proofs of flat Earth that we can have. Like, honestly, I think, like, I'm not giving myself any credit for it. Like, I just looked at it through flat Earth eyes. It was someone else that thought of it, but putting it together and putting it applied to flat Earth, yeah, man, you cannot do that. There's no one in the world that can make 2 turns at 90-degree angles and be home. You know?
Is he still a baller?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything from that guy. I forgot even what his channel was. I wish I could.
I agree with what you're saying, and I think Wolfie's translated what your channel and done it based on what he can do easily in the cockpit. But that doesn't make 2 90-degree turns and get back to where he started. But it would have to be over a certain. Yeah. Just do it over a couple of miles. It'd have to be over a few hundred miles, right?
Oh yeah. If it was a ball, you would definitely need about half of the globe in order to do it. But like I said, it's not. I'm not asking for anybody to fly it. I'm just asking to do it over flyable airspace that we can actually confirm that, you know, flights do go around. You know, the Antarctica and North Pole are off limits. Obviously, they're restricted to us.
Okay, so the point that I find strangest is how Ranty Flat Earth initially came in and started saying that Wolfie had won the challenge and that this guy should pay up. But search for truth, whether the Earth is flat or a sphere, shouldn't we be studying Wolfie's results to see if maybe we are on a sphere, if we are truth?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with Wolfie's results is that you'd never know what the system is telling you is based on.
Well, yeah, but obviously the conversation here is that nobody knew what the results were. Nobody actually knows. But Ranty was coming and saying that flat out should pay to Wolfie because Wolfie did meet his challenge. So if he did, shouldn't we be investigating Wolfie's results instead of yelling at flat out for giving subs to ballers?
No, I actually think that we should be challenging why he didn't do what we should be.
Well, yeah, of course we know that now. We know that now at this point of the conversation. But in the beginning of the conversation, Ranty met the challenge. So if we're on a quest for truth, shouldn't we be going through Wolfie's results to see if we are actually on a sphere or on a flat Earth?
Hey, you guys, my iPad's about to die right now.
That's actually that's the next level, right?
That is the next level.
I'm gonna join on my phone. My
the level that we are on now is Ranty's amazing footage that he takes with his camera, but now we got a pilot that's on the opposition, and so hopefully we can find someone like that can be on our side, quote unquote. But if we're on the quest for truth, it shouldn't matter if ballers get subs, because in the end we are right. The Earth is flat.
Getting at in terms of moving it forward. I think to move it forward, Wolfie's got to get the flight charts out and comply with the challenge. That's the way forward for me.
At this point of the conversation, I agree with that. But in the beginning, when Ranty was telling flat up to Wolfie, he was saying that what seems to me just on a clickbait title where he was congratulating Wolfie, when the content of that video was he was being sarcastic, which I don't think Ranty knew.
Well, maybe not, but I think in the beginning, the position's changed, doesn't it? Because in the beginning, Ranty said, you should pay up. But by the end of the conversation, I agree that Wolfie didn't do it on paper charts. And I don't know if it makes any difference. But in the beginning, he's kind of been superseded now by the pointing out that he didn't do it on paper charts, which was the challenge. So it's like, for me, it's like that has to happen next. So it's not in the beginning anymore. Eyes on Wolfie showing that the charts, the way that it was challenged, can do 2 90-degree turns and get back to home.
Well, I actually don't trust any of this, and flat out, because he says I'm going to give this guy $100,000, and then I will give another 100,000, and then I will give another 50,000. Meanwhile, he's not doing his part as making an escrow or something, some proof that he will actually pay for it.
Guys, well, the whole point was I've just listened back to the original challenge, and the original challenge states using flight charts, the navigational charts that you use for flying. That's what was stated. And there was no mention of paper charts in the original challenge. I just thought I would bring.
Does he not say piecing them? Does he not?
That's what the challenge was.
He doesn't say piecing them together in the original challenge.
Let me just read through the rest of it. Flight charts, using flight charts.
So he doesn't say electronic or paper.
No.
But earlier in the call, he said that he did say that they were paper charts.
Yeah, I know, but he
Hey
doesn't state that in
JS,
the
how you
original
doing?
challenge.
Hold on a second, Ranty. Hey JS.
Mic check 1 2.
Hello, good to have you.
Greetings.
Hello.
Thank you.
You know, it's I don't want to get down on any flat earthers, but at the end of the day, I'm only just seeing it from the outside point of view here.
Yeah,
and
but to be honest,
an outside point of view, there was no paper charts mentioned, honestly.
Well, maybe there wasn't. If there wasn't, then maybe that's the issue. But I mean, I never saw the original challenge. I only saw the one where Wolfie's typing it in what looks like a keypad on a.
Yeah, but which is why I'm saying I understand the logic behind the original challenge completely. I agreed with it from day one, but and I knew where it was going to go because they would never be able to fly that route ever in a million years. I knew it implicitly how it was coming about, but. It's just the way that the challenge was set. The conditions, in my opinion, were met, but it could have been maybe done a bit better. Maybe if they'd have said paper charts originally in the first video, and that would have helped out a lot.
I don't know. I'm not even sure. Well, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know, and I don't know whether we would even know whether or not he did it. Even if he was allowed to use electronic charts, how would we prove that the electronic charts are doing what they tell us the electronic charts are doing? You wouldn't know, would you?
Is he gone?
Yeah, he said his battery was dying.
Right, well, anyway, can we change subject?
I thought the original challenge just said flight charts. And then Wolfie came back with his electronic flight charts, which he kind of proved that pilots use. And
yeah, but is an electronic flight chart the same as a flight chart?
That's what I thought. Well, if that's what people are using to fly with this day and age, then to me that's a flight chart. But I think the guy who did the challenge, I don't know his name, went onto some website then and said, yeah, if you can show it on this website. It was some online website that he claimed was valid for being a flight chart, and then Wolfie just came on and proved it on there as well, going from the South Pole. And then this guy's just changed the goalposts again. He just seems like he doesn't want to pay out. I think he's just done it as a challenge that he knows the outcome will be.
But to be honest, though, taking it in now that we know the whole script of how everything should have been, the challenge should have been originally stated, paper charts, piece them together, and then can that route be flown? Not only map it out, but can it be flown? Then there'd be no way in a million years that you guys would be able to put that together.
Well, no, because paper charts are a conversion from a ball to a flat plane. It's
what? Paper charts are a conversion from a ball.
Yeah.
Flat plane.
Yes, Ranty. Yes, they are global projections.
In the glober's mind.
Yeah, they are global projections.
They're a projection of a ball onto a flat surface.
Okay.
You cannot take the countrywide plan of, say, the United States and piece them all together and navigate that exactly as the paper chart would show it.
Well, isn't that his point?
Yeah, that is his point. The challenge he's made is disingenuous. There's no way you can do it on a paper chart. But he didn't specify a paper chart.
Hold on. That's a bit of an issue for me. Hold on. Why not?
Why can't you?
Yeah, why not?
Because it's a conversion from 3D into 2D. It just doesn't work.
Well,
so what?
Let me support that. If you're going to convert from a ball into a flat map, wouldn't that distort all the geographic locations on the land masses?
Yeah, of course.
All right. So therefore, I mean, that's why I find it disingenuous in the very beginning, knowing that not to have to actually pre-insert that as a bet is that it's already moot, and this is what's
the guy.
right
Yeah,
now.
the guy knew. The guy knew exactly what he's doing. I doubt very much he's got $250,000 to $250,000 to pay out. You know, has anybody asked him for a proof?
Sorry to
he can
cut you
actually
off.
back
I'm really
up his claims
sorry.
before he makes those assertions.
Sorry
before
to
he
cut you
makes
off,
the challenge. Sorry.
I appreciate what you're saying about whether or not he's got the money, but that's not relevant. I mean, it does seem like there is a misunderstanding in terms of how these charts work, perhaps from his position.
Yeah, he's saying that physical paper charts do exist for a local area flight, and then in his next breath he says, oh, but it would be really difficult to prove this unless you were flying half the globe. You know, he's trying to make a challenge, and then he's trying to make a challenge that is physically impossible to do with paper charts, and he knows it very well, and that's why he's done it. He's just done it to put his big wooden spoon in the pot of stirring.
So basically, the worst allegation against him is that he's picked a challenge that's incapable of being completed. So really, he's trolling the ballers. Is that what you're saying?
Well, he's just he's just trying to get himself views, or trying to get himself known, or trying to get some publicity out for himself.
Okay.
It's just no way.
Well,
it'll work, and he's even said it won't work. He said you need a, if you do a local area chart, you need to do 3 turns or whatever to get back to your, to make up your square, to get back to your original home point. But as you know, if you just look at the angles on a ball, you can clearly do it with less turns. It's just the way it works. From the south, from the bottom of the ball, we won't use terminology, from the bottom of the ball, go halfway up the side, go halfway round, and then turn again and go all the way to the bottom again.
Yeah, but what he's saying is that on the globe, on Google Earth, you can get back home with just 2 90-degree turns. Is that right?
I don't know. I haven't tried it on Google Earth.
Essentially, that's what he's saying. He's saying that you can map it out. If you map it out on Google Earth, you can get back to your location using 2 90-degree turns, which gives you a triangle. But you try doing that on a flat map, and you would need to do 3 90-degree turns as opposed to 2.
Yeah. So what
Well, a flat map is a conversion from 3D into 2D. It won't work.
Yeah. So why?
That's what we're told. That doesn't mean it's true.
So why doesn't it match?
Because the paper's not curved.
Because it's not that it's been, or the line about that it's been a conversion back from a ball to a plane, and it is actually a plane in the first place.
Yeah, the paper is not curved, but neither is the Earth.
Correct. It's whether or not there's been a bluff and then a double bluff, or is it just a bluff?
Or that you're wrong.
No, we know it's wrong. The maps are wrong. If it was the case that you could translate one of these back into a sphere and it was perfect, then let's see it.
Yeah, there are images around on the internet of maps that have got cuts into them that you can cut them and fold them into a ball. And but the problem is, in a 2D projection, it doesn't physically work, because you go off the edge of one cut and you appear like physically on the adjoining cut.
That's my
where
point.
There's a big gap.
That's my point. So it doesn't work. So you can't translate it back then. That's my point.
To be honest, the more you argue this point, the more it sounds like the other guy's right. Flat Earth Hero's right. Because we know that on a ball, we know that off, but we know that on a ball the maps don't convert to flat. So they tell us that they've had to convert it flat to flat. And we said, no, that's because it's flat in the first place, you morons. You haven't converted it. But they all believe it. It'd be interesting to see. I mean, you'd have to find out what the distance necessary would be. It would be good to like charter a plane and fly it and see, does it work? Does it actually work if you did 2 turns at 90 degrees over a certain distance?
Well, you don't need to charter a plane. You just get a football and put your finger on the ball and do it round and get it protracted, don't you?
No, but we don't live in a football. What I'm saying is, if you actually flew the journey, and if you actually flew the journey on a plane and then did what he says, we know that he's not going to end up back where he started, or not if we live on a plane.
Exactly. That's the whole point. I knew what he was trying to say originally in his original challenge, and the challenge is correct. But you know, the way the conditions were set in the original challenge, I felt were met. However, he's just put a comment now which says the maps are right. Road maps are accurate enough to get from address to address, which is correct. You know, you can actually go by virtue of using the road map from one end of the UK to the other, and that will be on a paper chart too. So you've got to consider that when you think, well, how can you end up hundreds and hundreds of miles away if you did the 290-degree turns, and yet Google Earth would have you coming back to the exact same location.
So basically, without hearing what he actually said in the original challenge, we can't really give any conclusions. Because
the original challenge just said flight maps. He didn't specify a medium of flight map. He then went on to say his
but when he came in,
digital. I don't know what he's saying. He went on to produce another video that was, can you use this website? I can't remember what it's called, Top Flight or something like that. And he showed himself drawing out or using the website. And then he said, this is fine for a flight chart. And then Wolfie then came on and showed him going from the South Pole up to the equator, across and back down to the South Pole. Admittedly, because it was a conversion from a 3D to a 2D image, his South Pole is the length of the entire bottom edge of the 2D map. So he went from the, say, for example, the bottom left corner of the map up to the middle of the screen, across to the right side screen, and then down to the bottom right corner of the screen.
So I guess at the same point, do we go back, like, without hearing the actual challenge worded the way knowing that information, then we wouldn't be able to conclude. We have to leave it open-ended.
No, you don't, Tony. You lost.
So I'm going to leave these guys chatting away about Flat Out Hero, I'll get his name right, and his bet, and the outcome of that on the after show. So if you want to tune into that, it'll rebroadcast, or broadcast for the first time in terms of the after show at least, along with a rebroadcast of what's just gone out live at 0400 hours GMT or 4 AM UK time on my second channel. There is also the rebroadcast of the show before this, so if you missed it, if you're a bit of a late riser, then tune in to Nathan Oakley channel to catch the pre-show together with the rebroadcast of the show that went before this one. Massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible, and also a massive thank you to you, the live audience, for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, then you know exactly what to do. Smash the dislike button and then smash it again. But if you liked it, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you have not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, this has been Eleanor, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Bigger than he could A, back up, and B, he knew in the back of his mind that couldn't be done, but he just didn't articulate it properly. He wanted it on a paper chart, and he didn't say that.
That's what I'm going to look for.
Then to try and save face, he come up with his website, and then Wolfie just used the website and did it again. He's done it twice now.
Yeah, that's true. He did. He actually said on the app, this is the app that I'm going on about. He showed the app and he said, I'm talking about this kind of chart here. And so Wolfie used the same app that he was showing and displaying, because he said that that would be acceptable. And then he released a video saying that the challenge had been met. The challenge, well, that part of the challenge had been completed. Well, that was the original challenge anyway. he then added the caveat of, can you actually fly that route now? So, you know, I mean, I understand his point. He sounded like a nice guy, actually. I'll give him that.
Whoa, Ranty.
He did sound like a decent. I mean, he didn't come across like the method that I thought he was when I saw him on his videos.
How does he not know that you're a serious flat earther, though?
I don't know.
He's obviously not clicked on videos, has he?
Yeah, well, I can understand. I know what Alan's saying, actually. He's saying that most people in this debate already know that I am a flat earther, so...
He probably only watches the videos that interest him, and he doesn't watch other videos.
I mean, I don't know what Wolfie's up to on a day-to-day basis, mainly because he's in Australia and he's going to have his own solos, but I wouldn't expect him to know about your auntie, given that you're not in the same country.
Well, hang on, wait a minute. Wolfie knows me, Soundly knows me, all the ballers know me, most of the flat earthers know me. I mean,
yeah, but this guy obviously
I know what Alan's trying to say. He's trying to say that, you know, where's this guy come from? He's just like arrived on the scene out of nowhere, made this ridiculous challenge, caused a shitstorm out of nothing, and then he could literally leave tomorrow and no one would miss him. No one would even know who he was, where he came from. He could be a plant just to come in and stir the pot. You know,
meanwhile, you have to deal with the outfall.
And then we deal with the outfall, exactly, yeah. So, I mean...
Oh, don't... no way, I'm not having this, Alan. Come on. Look, Ranty, let me just give you a couple of bitch slaps. You're being a total conspiratard.
What?
Yeah, and Alan's encouraging you. Alan's encouraging this behaviour. Why would you think you'd get Alan's support for anything ever, other than that it's making you look silly because you're being a tard when you start saying, "Oh, it could be a plant."
You ask Tony. I'm in a good mood today. I've been pretty friendly.
Alan's a manipulator, always.
He is a manipulator. He sent me a link for him to download a video, right? So I'm not going to be clicking it.
Yeah, when he catches Arwen alone, he says things like, "Oh, and they were not nice to you today, right?" You know, like he tries to get on his good side.
No, I'm not. I'll say that.
You're a creep. You're a creep.
On his face.
You're a creep, Alan. You know that.
No, I'll tell you now.
Alan is a character.
I think Tony picks on it.
No.
There you go, Tony.
Doesn't mean I pick on him. Sometimes I pick on him.
You see,
Alan is alright, even though he say I'm a two-face also, but it's alright.
No, what's that, Mr. Flip Flop?
There you go, Flip Flop. That's what you call me, you ass.
Well, hang on. Let me just go back to my original point, which was he didn't come across the same as he did on his videos. On his videos, he come across as a complete airhead, and at least in the chat today, he sounded like he knew a fair amount of stuff. But how can he know all this stuff and he just comes out of nowhere and doesn't even know I'm a flat earther? Yeah,
I don't trust him.
Well, we'll see. See what the tide brings, but is what it is. See where he goes with his channel.
Interesting that he managed to convince Tony within 30 minutes.
But we all know what kind of flat earther that flat earther hero is. We've seen him on the debate with Red Rhetorics, right?
No, that's not true. That's not true. Hold on. Before he throws that out there. So, right, the whole time Anthony's been disagreeing with Ranty on this subject, so it's not like he was turned. Ranty's not influenced Anthony at all to go against this guy in terms of his opinion and what he proves. So, just to clarify, he hasn't changed Anthony's opinion by coming on the show. That was always his opinion.
The issue was, what was the challenge? And I've not heard the original challenge. Which was piecing together paper, and I remember thinking when Wolfie did his video, when he typed in the numbers on that electronic thing, that wasn't paper. Now that's the way I recall it. It might be wrong, but to be honest, I wasn't really interested in it. It was just anything to do with Wolfie. I just see as dishonest anyway. So
why did you talk for half an hour about it then?
Yeah, yeah.
You had the best line though. Just remember your flat Earth oath. I thought that was brilliant. I was laughing my head off.
I didn't speak for it for half an hour. I was listening to it all the way through, and I just thought, well, the point is a challenge.
Oh, when are you 60 and a woman?
Shut up, you prick.
I appreciate him apologizing with Ranty for saying, you know, maybe, or my bad, you know, you have content or whatever. Maybe he was being hypocritical, but at least he apologized. So he was man enough to you know, to bow down for a second, you know.
Oh,
That's what I mean. He sounded like a fair enough guy. I'll be honest. He did seem all right, but I've been lured in before by these people, so.
I still think he's probably right. Wolfie didn't do what he challenged, but it depends on what he actually said. It depends on what he actually said. And
Well, I sent you the link. Have you read the?
This is what's annoying about you, Tony. You've not looked at the evidence. You've not looked at what he said, and then you come on and say, "Well, I think he was probably right." Was he? Fuck.
I have said that I haven't seen the original video of him in the chat for the last hour.
How can you form an opinion if you've not seen the evidence?
And that's why I said we're going to have to leave it open-ended.
You didn't. You said, "I probably think."
Yeah, because he doesn't strut any of those Wolfie guys or whatever.
Shut up.
Listen, the reason why I said Wolfie's saying specifically in his video, we don't have paper chats anymore. We do it electronic, and I thought, well, that means you're not doing what he said to do. Even though I hadn't seen the challenge, the fact that he said that made me think that he's not doing what he was asked to do.
No, he lost the bet, Tony, straight up.
Well, maybe he did. Maybe he did.
He did. Not maybe. He did.
Well, like you say, I haven't seen it, so I can't. All I can tell you was that I saw Wolfie's response video.
Let's talk about it again for another 45 minutes.
Yeah,
we all know that if ballers are good at one thing, it is declaring victory.
Yes, well said.
Well, why didn't you watch the video? It's only 4 minutes long.
That seems like quite a lot of effort, Ranty. Can't we just discuss it without ever watching it?
It just means I have to drop out. Otherwise I can't hear it.
It's not got any women in it, and none of them are 60, Tony.
Okay, now why am I getting this 60-year-old woman thing? Is that like
you
the
said
flavour
it's
of the
like
week?
because all you seem to do with this particular generation that might be a generation or two above you is highlight that fact every time you bring them up and anything they have to say about anything.
I just think it's worthy of discussion and it's worthy of credit. That's all. It's not.
Yes, like saying, and they're so old, they're doing really well, even given their age. Is basically what you're saying.
In the 60s doesn't give her age.
What?
These does not give her age. I think you lot are all being ageist.
What would age matter?
What? Me? No, you,
why,
Anthony.
Why is the age of being
I love it.
credit in the game?
You don't even know you're doing it.
Sorry, but
that's
like,
brilliant.
My dad's wife is like in her 50s, and she looks amazing.
Cash back.
So,
but Riley, you got a 60-plus-year-old woman in here in the form of Alan.
Hang on, how can your your dad's? Wow, I was going to say your mum can't be in her 50s, but your dad's wife's obviously not your mum, right?
He said stepwife.
Ah, I didn't hear the word step. I assumed it was his mum that he was talking about, and then I realised maybe he's not.
No, he wasn't.
My age, and I'm 38. You're 38, Arwin, right?
Me? I'm however old I need to be.
He's 38.
Yeah, I was gonna. I thought that you were talking about your mum.
Look, if there's some young girl, then I can act really mature and use my low voice But hey, if there's an older woman, I can be this really loose young guy. That's also
my low voice.
I can be whatever age I need to be.
But when you
wait, let me hear this low voice just for a second. Let me hear the low voice.
What?
Arwin, you dirty boy.
No.
Go ahead.
I'm more interested
this is just my slightly more imposing, compelling voice.
So let's hear the low version of it then.
I'm still waiting.
But I just use different type of breathing when I talk like this. It's a different mindset.
Go on then, do it. Let's hear you do it then.
He hyperventilates when he talks to girls.
I'm not used to talking like this to men, so.
Talk to me how you talk.
Although there are a lot of men out there that would really like that.
Hello, Arwin. Shall we go on a date? Arwin?
Alan, that's not your real voice, is it?
Hello, Arwin. Shall we go on a date?
Very telling.
It's just that when I talk a little bit higher, I can better concentrate on what I'm thinking about. So I need a higher voice to focus properly. But if I'm just observing a lot, really to social interactions, then I can go all over my vocal range if I need
You become Barry White, basically.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies. I am Arwin. Would you like to experience a real aberration?
Good evening, ladies.
Jose, you're retarded.
Would you like to feel my rectangular map?
I got some real good supplements back home.
Nathan, are you there? Alan has got a prediction for who he thinks Zinder might be.
Who he thinks who might be?
Zinder.
Okay.
Alan doesn't think that Zinder is a real person. He thinks it's a troll. It's a baller with a voice changer.
No, that's a dumb new conspiracy saying that Zinder is the same person as GeoScriber. It's only because they're idiots and they can't distinguish the difference between their accent.
Yeah,
they're absolutely two different people with different vocal cords.
He thinks Zinder is GeoStreamer, and I'm like, no way.
Yeah, it's stupid.
You'll see.
Yeah, we saw Zinder's flat feet.
No, they don't have the same vocal cords. They have different vibrations in their voice.
Well, if you're going to speculate this to fine, what's the motivation?
They're collecting sound bites.
Somebody on here with a voice changer.
Who's that?
Jay? JS?
Yeah. Hello.
Was that you?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Hey, so Barry White, you want to go? You want to go Super Barry White?
Who was that talking?
No, that's more. That's an alien Barry White with.
You want to go like Chipmunk Barry White?
Eyes.
I can't even see his mic's bouncing. Who's doing that?
Shout out to Jimmy and his voice changer.
So okay, so who's put this forward? Was it you, Alan?
Yeah, Alan's put it forward that GeoStreamer is Zinder.
Yeah, I put that forward.
I've heard it before.
Well, let's speculate then. So, what would be his end game, or what would be the motivation for doing such a thing if it was him?
Oh, I can answer that.
Collecting sound bites.
Hold on, it's not your idea, Arwin. Don't hijack Alan's idea.
I didn't. I talked about it I even talked about it on the early bird yesterday.
What's your idea of it then, Arwin? Go on, I'll feed into you.
Right. Okay. Well, it's very logical because GeoStreamer was absolutely red-handed, caught on tape, exposed as a liar, and he'll never recover from that. He can basically be tolerated by the Globers, and that's pretty much it because he has no more credibility. But if he could create an alternative character, then he could potentially start with a clean slate. It's a very
that's a fair point.
Tactic. There's more ballers trying this out because they are shitting all over themselves and they can't represent
it's like
as themselves anymore because they're just too screwed up. But in this case, it's not the case.
Like Jimmy when he added that line and got caught adding the line live in front of everybody, right? If GeoStreamer has realized that he's kind of destroyed, it's the reason to do it.
Okay, fair enough. So what do you reckon, Alan?
It's not the case in this case.
Your name's not Alan.
I think Owen's pretty correct, and they're collecting sound bites and feeding wrong information.
What a load of bollocks.
You'll see.
All right.
I want to agree, but I just don't think it's him.
You'll see.
Yeah, I think this is just a distraction from the fact that you do actually have liars that are being fed in the background on your side of this argument. So if you can throw out some conspiracy bollocks, hopefully people will buy. Yeah, total. Yeah, I'll give you a definition, a distinction even. So conspiracy bollocks would be the idea that Zinder is somebody else, as opposed to us having a recording of Soundly feeding GeoStreamer. That would be cast iron evidence of them being lying shits. But it would be useful, given that topic's come back up, as we've had a similar lying shit come on and say that he wasn't being fed when he blatantly was. Yeah, that would be a useful distraction right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, guys, what do you think of Flat Out? Is he actually a ball troll?
Just some dude. What's your problem, Conspiratard Ranty?
What is he, though? What is he?
Just a dude.
No, he's just a more frictional flat earther, No,
he's
a little bit more infighty type, Everybody has their level that they're at, how they deal with stuff.
And after all the stuff we've covered about buying subs, you immediately attribute some success that Wolfie's had to him. doing a challenge. Why would suddenly that grow anybody's channel by any significant number?
100 grand bet.
So what?
Idiotic why he did that anyway. Can he actually pay for that? It's ridiculous.
So, hold on, I just want to see the logical step between some no-name YouTuber having a bet put out there that hardly anybody sees because he's a no-name YouTuber, and Wolfie's channel growing. Where do you see that? Why is that in any way correlated?
Because it created such a fuss, and people shared the story far and wide, and then the next thing, 6 million people joined his channel.
Bollocks. Bollocks.
Yeah, bollocks.
All right, okay.
If he's not actually gonna do anything and not get anything done, then eventually they'll leave again. So,
I mean, if you are arguing that grew his channel by 50 subs, I'd be shocked. But to assert that it's made any significant difference, no.
How can you wager just $100,000 if you don't really have it? You know,
because people talk a lot of shit, Arwen. People talk a lot of nonsense. People will make up crap. Why have a bet in the first place? What does he get if he wins the bet? It's just all nonsense.
Exactly. It's whiny attention grabbing.
Bravado. Total bravado.
But Arwen, you back in the day, you used to think Alan was Lottie. Boom, remember?
Yeah, bloody bets with Lottie. Maybe
No,
this is why
I disagree now, because Alan has absolutely noticeably higher intelligence and much better verbal capacity. And I really appreciate that, because he is actually on the high end of verbal capabilities among a lot
What's
of
weird
channel
about the buying of subs is all you guys seem to agree with Tim Osman.
What's Tim Osman's view?
Tim Osman thinks that Salman Dan has bought all his subs as well.
Is that right?
Hang on. Isn't it maybe Tim Osman that agrees with us rather than we agree with Tim Osman?
No.
Tim Osman's been a lot... no, I've got to shout out Tim Osman for that regard. He's been around a lot longer than you, Anthony, in this respect. I would, he knows how to spot signs the same as I do of people being fakers. So, I'm not putting you down in any way, but for him to just assert that off the back of his experience, I'd be like, yeah, well, he's going to recognise the same shit. He's been doing it 10 years, same as me.
If you watch
Tim Osman is a flat earther in denial.
If you watch his video,
he goes there and then completely double things. He takes our side and then imagines that it is the baller side. He does it all the time.
I didn't see his video. I saw the subject of it, something like "Time at Tiger Dan's Killing It" or something like that was the title. I just didn't get around to watching the actual video.
Yeah, if you watch Tim's videos, there's a Simon Dan counter in the corner of all of them.
Is it a Simon scam?
Is it a live counter? Or do you want to
it's a live counter.
Make it live. How many subs is he on now? Simon Dan about
92,000.
Yeah, he'll get to 100 and he'll stop at 100 because that's what Nathan's predicted.
Well, it's not that I predicted that. He told me the way he phrased it was, when I get to 100,000 subscribers, you'll see, or something like that. And my response was, oh yeah, I don't know one day to the next if I'm going to gain or lose subscribers, let alone that I'm going to one day get to 10,000 for the sake of argument. I'd never put that out there. When I get to 10,000 people, I'll be blah, 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 blah. I wouldn't do that. I could lose a shitload of subscribers by saying the wrong bloody thing tomorrow. That's how YouTube is. If you've been around any significant amount of time, you'd know that you've got to work really hard to get shout-outs from people like bloody Johnny Bravo or whatever the hell. Some celebrity that until Flat Earth came along, I did not know who Eddie Bravo was. Now he's shouting me out and that gains me subscribers. Great, I'll check out Eddie Bravo. It works both ways. Not much in it for him, I'll grant him. But that gained me about 100 subscribers, enough for me to prompt a phone call to Anthony. Holy shit, I've grown 100 subs. This never happens. What's going on? And Anthony's reply, I have no fucking idea. That's weird. Because you notice that sort of shit. As for growing 100,000 subscribers in the space of 3 months, oh right, yeah, people like Leeds rules the right. You don't start outperforming Michael Jackson and, people like Jeren, who are in that same list. You just don't do it. You've got to work really hard to build a channel.
1,000 subscribers a day.
How many a day?
You have to remember.
1,000.
1,000 a day.
Who is?
What you have to remember is, guys, that the proportion of people that want to see
I just want one of those.
Flat Earthers getting smacked down is a lot higher than the other way around.
Bollocks. What a load of shite. So why isn't Tim Osman's channel absolutely smacking it? Why isn't any of the other Globeheads? Why isn't Red's Rhetoric, who's been around, has built his reputation, why isn't he going to 100,000 subs when he's done a damn sight more than Lieman Dan and his debunking of absolute no-name flat earthers?
Maybe because he constantly talks about dildos and homosexual activities.
Oh, right. I don't think that's enough to grow you 1,000 subs today, Arwin. I've got to be honest. You know.
Red's Rhetoric, crap thumbnails, hasn't got his face on camera, isn't a personality. Loads of reasons.
Yeah. There's no justifiable reason why Tiger Dan, whatever his name is, Lieman Dan, has exploded beyond all comprehension. There's no logical reason.
I didn't know about him. He popped up in my feed, and I went and
because apparently, I mean, from what we've been told, YouTube have started selling the facility to promote your channel. Kind of, if you can't beat them, join them. So last couple of years, 17 and 16, 2017, 2016, there was loads of people selling subscriptions and people coming to subs basically and views and likes, and YouTube they were inundated. It was a major problem, so they completely changed their algorithm to only go on watch time, and then coincidentally, although I didn't know this till recently, also started selling the service themselves so you can promote yourselves. So it's no coincidence that when I go out of the kitchen for 5 minutes to do something else and leave a video running, there's a good chance that a bloody Simon Dan will play on autoplay whether I like it or not. And I'll come in and go, I don't watch this crap, and turn it off, but that's registered a view.
Yeah, I've had that with Sean Hufford. I've had that with Sean Hufford playing. If I watched one of his videos because it's about me, and then leave and go make a brew, come back in, the next video on will be Sean Hufford.
No, that's different. No, you're watching a Sean Hufford video. No, that's different. So I'm talking about watching something totally unrelated to Tiger Dan or any Tiger Dan. You've made a show recently on this channel, Anthony, where you were talking specifically about a flat earther that's not even getting their shit put in front of other flat earthers. Yet, suddenly everyone has Tiger Dan, I keep calling him Tiger Dan, Simon Dan, on autoplay. Well, that's no coincidence, especially if YouTube are selling that service. But ultimately speaking, it doesn't necessarily make any of the views legitimate. It does make them views because at some point it has to have played in front of somebody. YouTube aren't going to fraud the numbers in that regard. So I don't doubt for a second that, yeah, it's played out 1 million squillion times on his channel. Does that mean that 1 million squillion people have clicked on it, engaged in it, and watched it? Well, no. There's going to be various ways that YouTube are going to pump that into the algorithm so that you get this full sense of achievement. But ultimately speaking, when you start doing searches for people like this, when they've got all their tags and titles Flat Earth, why aren't they at the very top of the list if they're the most successful YouTuber? Well, they're not, because they're not.
Yeah, whatever he did on the 16th of August, he got nearly 10,000 subs.
Probably nothing. Probably nothing. He probably didn't do anything. It's just
his views also were 700,000 that day.
Well, like I say, Eddie Bravo shouts me out, I grow by 100. He probably did nothing on that particular date and grew by some significant number more than 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what stops him from getting same advertising that he's getting?
Did you watch his live broadcast, Nathan?
Whose?
Simon Dan.
I don't watch Simon Dan at all.
I did. I didn't watch it live, but I saw that he had hardly any views on his live stream compared to his actual videos.
He had 1,000 people there, 1,000 plus.
Yeah, but he's only had like 15,000 watched it, and yet all his videos get 70, 80, 100,000 views, and yet the live stream gets nothing with him and Conspiracy Cat.
The live stream was very, very poor.
Doesn't matter. If he has that many subscribers, why aren't they watching it?
I'm telling you, it was very, very poor.
Okay.
It was so boring. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, the same goes for live views. It's easy to view bot, as they used to call it, and I've had various people demonstrate it to me, like as live. So they've shown me how they can manipulate the live views of a video. And you go, all right, so it is relatively simple to do. And there's companies, again, this is before, as I now understand it, YouTube sold these services themselves, that you could pay for live views as well. They were part of packages. So you get so many views over a certain period. And, the other thing you used to know, when other people, not me, were really caught up in this. And like I say, 10 years after doing YouTube, I've kind of got bored of it. I've seen it a few times, looked into it a few times, but still people will tell me, look at this, and they'll take me to Social Blade. And you'll see that these companies are clearly removing the subs. And I have no idea if this is true, but I assume afterwards, they presumably demand a few quid, right? Well, you know, you've got 10,000 subscribers at the moment. Tomorrow you've only got 6,000. You're going to go, oh no, what do I do? Contact my fake sub supplier. What's happened? Where's all the subs gone? Well, you know, YouTube purged them bi-monthly and that's where they all go. Do you want them all back? It'll cost you X amount of money, you know, and so it goes on. So this is often the case. You'll see people who suddenly lose a shitload of subs and claim that YouTube are censoring them or whatever. It's like, no, at some stage you've probably bought a load of subs. I know for a fact that YouTube purge based on the algorithm and how it gets more and more sensitive as time goes by, but they're looking through your account for either subscriptions that you're not using, that you don't ever click on, or by virtue of that's what its actual design is for, to purge people that are just subscribing to people for a fee and then not actually watching or engaging in the way that YouTube algorithms say you should if you're a genuine watcher, and they'll just wipe them out. And, you know, over time, the fake subs got more and more sophisticated because instead of just having somebody that could view bot your channel, literally fake sub, fake view, then you had to have an actual person in front of a computer clicking on your video. But you can do that easily with a call centre full of loads of people. You know, you just stick it on a schedule and at a given moment, a shitload of people will engage with a particular piece of content that's on their daily schedule. You know, it's pretty easy to envisage how this would all work. And it's a fact that they were, at least until recently, selling it as a service that you could buy very easily. I've also seen accounts of people on YouTube detailing their experiences with doing this. And until recently, at least, YouTube were quite snippy if they caught you doing it. You know, it violates their community guidelines. So you're not supposed to fake subs. Nonetheless, they still sell services of promotion, so it would appear. So, you know, to fake your channel and promote
nobody else is allowed to do it.
Well, yeah, I don't blame them though. It's their channel, right? It's their website. They can do whatever they like. Exactly. It's YouTube's rules.
It's their system.
Yeah, and you know, you have to accept that if you're going to be here. You know, I know the community guidelines reasonably well. I'm not, you know, word perfect with them or anything, but I've got a good idea about what the community guidelines say I can and can't do, and I have to work within those confines. If I want to be a YouTuber, because it's not my channel, it's not my website, it's theirs, and their rules apply, unfortunately. But within the rules, if you can fake it and they'll allow you to do it, then, you know, more power to people who want to create a full sense of achievement with their YouTube channel. It's like, great, order yourself a fake gold play button while you're at it. You know, great. But if it's not real, then who cares? You know, that's why I'll never buy subs. I'm only interested in genuine engagement from genuine people who've come across my content through whatever means, and now they want to actually watch it. Because other than that, what's the point in having people subscribe to you if they're not actually genuinely interested in watching, or the information that you're discerning, or the argument that you're having, or the blood vessel you're bursting, or whatever it is they're engaged for?
Because it gets you better ranking and it gets more eyes on your channel.
Yeah, I like the fact that when you search Flat Earth, you haven't got to scroll very far to find one of the debates, usually one from a couple of days ago. So it seems to be that if you search Flat Earth, you will get a debate presented, and as you get further and further down, they keep appearing. So like, good.
But hold on, Nathan. That, like, the search engines do tend to remember what you busy yourself with and direct you accordingly.
No,
So
that's if
the
you've
best
got
way
cookies.
to
That's
test
if you
it
use,
out
no,
is
I know what you're
by
saying. If you're
asking
using
somebody
cookies,
who's never heard of it.
Sure,
before.
but you can. I use a VPN and don't use cookies. Sign in, unsigned in, and check what's going on. I'm saying from experience, you will find a debate generally. Not me signed in as Nathan Oakley with cookies littering it all. Not at all. I'm saying that you search Flat Earth, you'll find a debate, and that's because I've worked bloody hard and kept up the momentum and kept up the you know, the show. Well, that takes bloody effort, not just so you put out a video a week that's a couple of minutes, maybe 10 minutes at most long, debunking some no-name flat earther, and suddenly you get 100,000 subs. If it was that easy, everyone would do it. If it was suddenly the case that debunking flat earthers is really popular, you know, loads of people would jump on that bandwagon, I assure you, because there's cash to be made in a 100,000 sub channel. You know, that's a living. So if Lyman Dan's making a living on it, people will get wind of that quick sharp and go, I'll do that, I can do that, I can replicate that and make a living from YouTube. One video a week. Yeah, no worries. Everyone would be doing it. Well, why aren't they? Well, because it's not really true. You know, that much is obvious.
You're on the fourth.
Nobody will want to ruin their reputation as an honest person just to keep a channel going for a living.
Yeah, people are totally that vain, Arwen. You're wrong. People are absolutely that vain.
Well, some of them are, but not so many.
Alan, do you think that Simon Dan's bought his subs?
Well, his views seem to tally with his subscription, and his live people seems to tally, i.e. roughly 10%. If he's buying them, it must mean he's spending two grand a month.
No.
Who knows? Who cares?
Well, I do know that when I got a response video back from him, basically he said that, like he said to Ranty, go to his channel and troll him a little bit, and that's ended up being in my top 5 videos. So I did get the interaction that I didn't think I'd get. However, I agree with Nathan. You're not going to get that amount of subs by debunking people like me.
But then again,
that's Tim's position as well. Tim seems a bit bitter and can't understand it that, you know, a guy like him that's been at it for 5 years doing video of truths and proofs, can't understand why a scraggy guy who makes no effort with his studio and films in the corner of a bedroom suddenly is at nearly 100k.
It's because he's not. It's just a facade.
What's the channel name of this Tim guy? I don't know the people's first names.
Well, you can't find Tim's channel. That's the reason why he's not popular.
Well, no. Tim's not looking for fame. He's looking for infamy.
Yeah, but Alan said Tim's got sour grapes. He acts like he's a bit bitter.
Yeah, why else would he have a counter in the corner?
Well, because it's laughable.
Because it's a joke, yeah. Because it's fake as fuck. That's why.
Yeah. I don't think Tim's being vain. I think Tim's pointing out the stupidity of Simon Dan rather than the vanity of himself.
He sounded pretty bitter this morning.
Doesn't Tim remove his channel, his hangouts when he's finished them?
Some of them. He's kept the...
Guys, I'm going to go now on my paper round, so...
See you around, Owen. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. No
problem. Alan, how do you even get to Tim's channel?
I put a link in the side.
What?
Put a link in the side.
Link to what?
Owen, thought you were going.
Tim Osman's channel.
Yeah.
He's got a few.
You were asking something.
He's got various channels.
What? Right. Okay. See you later.
Laters.
Oh, he's not had many views either, Tim.
Was that the one that he did today? The one where he mentions me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the idea. I like the point that he makes about the narrow angle, not being able to see the roof. Did you agree with that point, Alan?
Well, of course there's a viewing angle.
Ah, there is.
Right.
It always has been.
Oh, no. They removed that aspect by putting us 90 degrees adjacent to the observation. So you look at the observation taking place, ignoring all aspects of viewing angle. So a straight line between a guy standing on the left and a target he's looking at on the right of a page that you're looking at it's possible to just draw a straight line between those two and claim that's how the flat Earth should be. I misrepresent what's actually being observed and the viewing angles that you say do get accounted for, but absolutely do not.
I think the problem there with Ranty's observation is how much his angle he's expecting to see over just a 10-mile distance. It's not much, is it?
Yeah, but that's a sidestep from the fact that it's completely ignored if you're a globehead. Completely ignored, Alan. Totally. It's always going to be an orthographic representation when you tell us how it should be on a flat plane. And then the actual effects of perspective will be represented as ball. Like the guy, the geodetic surveyor, do you remember? So he shows us an orthographic representation and I say, what gives us this view? And he zooms in on his clever device. But that's not giving us the view he's showing us. because what he's saying is, look, here on a flat Earth, you shouldn't see any drop. So when I show you there is a drop through the lens of this device, I'm going to say it's Earth curve causing it. Because look, orthographic view misrepresents your world, and your world is flat, right? No. You ignore perspective and viewing angle, Alan. If you're a globehead, you've hijacked it for your begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator. So no, you won't ever include viewing angles when you're accounting for your sphere you believe in. That's the unfortunate truth, that people like Miles Davis, when they do it again and give us an orthographic representation, they've stuck their head in the sand. Seems like you have too.
Not really.
Oh, so they do account for viewing angle in the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator, Alan?
You've got that one down, haven't you?
Do they account for viewing angle in the begging the question perspective hijacking curve calculator, Alan? Just this going to be a 5 times of asking while you don't concede that you've got your, or you're going to obfuscate the question completely while I point out again that you've got your head in the sand, because this is the undoing of your religion. I'll chuckle. Yeah, Alan, this is the bit that shits all over your religion. You have to remove the contextual viewing position and place it somewhere else that no one ever takes a picture of in order to misrepresent what we claim as reality, flat Earth. So that's not reality. What you see through the lens, perspective-based, matches reality perfectly when you account for viewing angles. When you do that for your model, yeah, it all goes to shit. That's what Ranty's been showing with Miles Davis's crappy observation and his sharpshooter, cropping out bits that might just support his argument if he puts it in an orthographic view.
Yeah, that was classic. He's cropped out all the mountains in the background that we could use for analysis. So
why don't you ask him for the source?
Why? Who cares? What his assertion, Alan, is that when you compare it to his model, this is what we should or shouldn't see.
So we did, and we debunked him, and then he changes it and changes the photograph and crops out all the evidence that we can use to prove that he isn't a ball Earth proof. That's very dishonest.
I've not seen that video.
Well, you don't have to. I can show you right now. Let me just share my screens.
It's nice that you've conceded. Yeah, angle of view. They all laughed when I called it angle of attack. Nice catchy title though, eh?
No, angle of view, if you use a camera, is something that you're used to.
Click on my screen, Alan, so you can see.
Like I keep saying, when they represent how the ball Earth works, it's not taking into account those viewing angles, is it, Alan?
His original video, Flat Earth is Dead, over 3,000 meters, 1,000 feet of curvature demonstrated. He even maps out the terrain for us, so we have mountain ranges that we can compare as in relation to the bridge. And yet on his more recent videos, he now only shows this part of this is Flat Earth Destroyed with one photograph, and this is the one photograph, which is a cropped image of the original. Well, I can show you where it is. He's actually taken it from there to there. That's the cropped image that he's using right now.
And why are you saying he's done that?
Well, you tell me. Why would he be omitting Earl Seat, Mikhail Bin, Doonbrak, Stronend? Why would he be omitting that? Could it be because once we plot in the angular size and we realize that the mountain ranges don't match up on a ball, but they match up much clearer to a flat plane when we do their angular sizes, he's now omitting that evidence. So Mikhail being Earl C, all the stuff that we can plot into a angular size calculator, and now just presenting this part of the image as opposed to the entirety of the image.
Here's a question for you. Have you taken the same formulas that you used on that spreadsheet there and taken your own picture and proven that your formulas are correct in real life? You know,
no, it's been done based on Miles Davis's numbers that he gave us.
Yeah, but that's got in quotes distortion and all sorts of stuff on there. So why
but everybody's agreed that this is a perfect representation. This image is a perfect representation of the ball. It has no distortion. What we're seeing is ball Earth proof. That's what we've been told. everybody's congratulating him, everybody's with him on this, that this is a bald Earth image. But when you actually run it through analysis and put it through the angular size calculator and then put them, the actual positions of the mountains where they should be in relation to each other, they're all in the wrong space. They're all in the wrong places. They shouldn't be where they are. They should be different. And then when that's pointed out, Miles Davis then crops out the image, removes all the data, and just presents us with this part of the image as opposed to the rest of the image.
So what he's
that's a bit
just to add to that. So what he's saying though is when he shows us what we should see according to him on a flat plane, he has removed us from this view that we're seeing now with the camera and presented it 90 degrees to it, a view no one ever gets or takes a picture of, and said this is how it should be on a flat plane, completely misrepresenting reality. And when we use reality, the picture itself, and say these things are further away, their angle is smaller, then it all goes to shit.
Can I ask a question?
Sure. I actually asked you a question. What do you think about Miles Davis doing this to the
I haven't seen the other videos, so what are the 4 arrows on the left pointing to? Is it something that's not visible?
Well, let's just get Miles Davis up, and I'll just show you what I mean by the fact of he's doing this to all his images, and it's essentially since the time that he was debunked, because this is where's his original? So Flat Earth is dead 2 weeks ago, and then he uses just a cropped out image.
He certainly milked that photograph.
Sorry?
He certainly milked that photograph.
Milked it. No. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 videos on this one fucking photograph.
Good value for money there.
You're not really one to give someone shit for making multiple videos on one photograph, Franti.
Well, I don't make from one video.
You made multiple videos on what, like observations of the Isle of Man, or the lighthouse, or whatever the hell you guys do.
I didn't make multiple videos about the Isle of Man. I made perhaps 2 or 3.
2 or 3.
Well, you've been a lot about it on Nathan's.
Yeah, you've been a part of Nathan's, which it does the same thing. So,
but it was a video. It wasn't.
Whatever. It's hypocritical of you to give.
No.
For doing, you do
I didn't bring up the point in the amount of videos that he made. It was Miles that brought that up originally. He was the one that states that he's made quite a lot of videos about this one observation that has been thoroughly debunked.
Can I ask my question?
Of course you can. But what do you think about it, though?
I don't know why he's doing it. I'd have to watch all 20 to come to a conclusion.
Is using this part of the image a fair representation of the whole image?
So the arrows for Micklebin and Dunbrack, are they pointing to things that are not visible or things that are below the red dotted horizon line?
You tell me. He's got this red dotted line going through the middle.
I don't know what they're pointing out.
They're pointing at hills, but they're, not pointy. They're not triangular hills. They're just tumps.
It just looks pretty weird that they indicating something. Well, the picture looks as if it's been altered as well.
I have no idea. I can't, to be honest.
Well, it has been through YouTube, isn't it?
Well, he's put all these dotted lines across it and he's written on it, so it is altered.
No, the lighting, you'd never get that light in all those colours.
Hey, Globehead, how you doing?
That's not the sun up the top left. That's
Hello,
by the
anyone hear me?
Yeah, we hear
you.
you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, okay, so I am definitely a person that wants to debunk flat Earth, and I was invited to this chat a couple times, so I finally got in. And I wanted to make sure we get this going. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I think this is ridiculous, but it is affecting children's minds. So what I'm doing is using you guys as a tool to help me teach children how to think critically by debunking ignorance. So you guys are going to represent the ignorance. My responses are going to show the children that I teach how to think critically in order to debunk ignorance. And so what I'd like to do is hear your, I guess, flat earth arguments. And I'm going to show my children here how to think critically to...
Sure.
Well, hang on. Let's play it the other way around.
Hold on, Anthony, hold on. So, just a quick question then. So, do you watch the show, presumably, right?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I don't think that matters.
That's all right.
Hold on.
We have
that's,
some...
that's the first thing I want to address that with the kids here. Hold on a second.
The first question is, are you actually...
I think he actually has an audience of kids.
Okay, this
So,
is...
Yeah, I'm a teacher.
Let's keep it like that.
That's what I do. But just hold on a
Yeah,
second.
so let's keep it clean for kids.
Okay, this should be interesting.
When you start seeing non-standard looming hijack, hyena, then kids are not going to get it. So let's try to keep it simple.
Okay, let's
Okay, I'm back.
Sorry, can I just kick off then? So, at the beginning of each of the debates...
To them is that,
bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Hello? Hold on. 1 second. Bear with me. Hello? You have to stop talking.
Has not been yet
Hello? Hello? Can you stop talking for a second?
Hello?
Right. So, at the beginning of each debate, we have a lineup of questions that we ask that we call the housekeeping questions. Because you don't watch the show, I assume you've never had those questions asked to you.
There are many shows. There are many.
Yeah, I understand. No problem. I'm assuming you haven't had... Okay.
I could be here for all of eternity watching Flat Earth videos, and I would never watch the shows that you refer to.
Okay, no problem. So one of the questions that we ask at the beginning of the show is there any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container? And I'll give you a little bit of context. So right now, you and I are breathing gas pressure. Do you accept and understand that?
Okay, so you're asking if I understand that, right? So,
yes.
So here's my response. I need you to listen. So your use of terms that you use a phrase, gas pressure, but you're using it in a way that is different than how it's scientifically understood. So
we're not talking science. Okay, listen.
So that's the first thing I need to explain to.
Yeah, we're not talking science. I'll clarify. We're not talking about science. We're talking about. Just bear with me.
Gas pressure. You don't breathe gas pressure. You're actually breathing gas.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We breathe gas pressure. Yes, we do.
Okay.
You see, this is going to be. Hold on, sir. This will be a problem if you make assertions like that. So you think, in your ignorance, that your assertion that we do not breathe gas pressure is why I asked initially for you to concede this fact that not a single person on the panel will disagree with me about, except you. It would seem.
Matter. You don't breathe gas pressure.
Yes, we do. Listen.
We don't breathe. We don't
okay,
breathe
right. This
pressure.
isn't going to be a very. This isn't going to be a concise conversation because we have you on the panel disagreeing.
Just because you have your own.
No, we don't breathe gas pressure.
Okay.
Yes, we do, P. Mars. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Do we live in a pressurized system?
We breathe gas pressure. This is a fact.
You do not breathe gas pressure. You breathe
so you're going to assert it again. So literally, before I even get to my example, you are denying that we breathe gas pressure.
Right. And
okay. Then this is a useless conversation to have with you because you are denying things that are very simply facts.
So we're starting with one thing. Let's start with the first thing: gas pressure. Pressure is a factor of how many atoms are in a particular volume.
No.
So,
no.
Yes.
You see, this is going to be a big problem because you are. Are your children listening to this? Are your children listening to this? Are your children listening to this?
Right. Why are you
willing to listen and not just talk and dominate? Are you?
Yeah, because you're wrong. You're wrong, and when we try and point out that you're wrong, even though I wasn't making that point. Yeah, it was getting a concession early on that you're not stupid and understand that we do indeed breathe gas pressure. But unfortunately, before I even finish my point, you start talking. So you're accusing us of being ignorant and talking when you are talking, but I'm still in the middle of a sentence, you ignorant man. So this will be a very big problem because you, sir, are very ignorant. You can't stop talking when other people are talking. That's a big problem. So you need to understand that when someone else is talking, you need to shut your mouth. You also need to understand that you are ignorant of facts like gas pressure that we do indeed breathe.
How many atoms are in?
Why are you still talking? I hadn't finished my sentence, and you are still talking.
Okay.
If
And
your
you
children
are
are
still
watching
talking.
this, your daddy's
So,
ignorant. Daddy's
Here's what we're gonna do.
ignorant.
I'm going to let you have the first minute to talk.
I run this show, shit for brains. I am the one who decides who talks. I am your host, you ignorant bonehead. Don't you get it? I am your host. You don't decide when I talk, stupid idiot.
Not getting anybody anywhere, guys. Just everybody stop a minute, please. Everybody stop. This is not getting anywhere. Everybody's just trying to shout louder than everybody else, and it's not working.
Yeah, this ignorant asshole has come on and decided to dominate the conversation.
Let me just clear this up. We breathe gas, and it is at air pressure. So you don't breathe gas pressure.
Yeah, we do.
You breathe gas at 1 atmosphere.
Yeah, so it is ipso facto. Let me get it clear then, sir. It is ipso facto gas pressure then? Gas that is at a pressure? So gas pressure, correct?
That's not what you're reading. No.
It's not the right terminology, Nathan, I'm afraid, unfortunately. But
so it is a gas. Let me get it correct. Sorry, I'm being stupid, clearly. Let me just get clarity. It is a gas, and it is at pressure. If it wasn't at pressure, it would be no gas. It wouldn't be pressurized. We wouldn't have gas. We wouldn't be breathing. But because it is a gas, and it does have pressure, we are, in fact, breathing gas pressure.
I agree.
Okay. Am I? Well, we've let.
No, not you. Not you. We already know you think I'm wrong. I wasn't talking to you. Not every conversation is directed to you just because you have a different opinion. This other gentleman, shut up. Shut up. You are not the only person being addressed. Shut up.
Does it matter?
It does. You're not being addressed. You don't.
The problem is
right. You're going to get kicked out in front of your kids because you're so ignorant. Shut up. You are not being addressed. Shut up.
And can clarify.
Nathan, let's get to the point.
You want to dominate the conversation.
Well,
yeah, I run the show. Don't you understand, you stupid idiot? I am your host. If you don't like that, go somewhere and run your own show. Do you understand that, dickhead?
You just sound like a troll.
Yeah, you are just sounding like an ignorant troll.
You just sound like a troll.
You've got another 30 seconds to prove you can keep your mouth shut, then you get kicked out.
You're just ridiculous, man.
And you guys don't want to hear it.
You don't let the guy speak. Are you kidding me?
Well,
you're not even letting him speak.
Let's try it again.
Yeah, well, why don't you try waiting for him to stop speaking before you speak? Like, are you retarded?
There was a silent pause, and that's when I spoke.
Dude, do you know how to have a conversation?
Replay the
Do you know how to have a conversation? You've been talking nonstop since you got into this room, bro.
Pause of silence, and then I responded.
Okay, then, guys, let's just let this guy.
Get this over with.
Hang on, let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning.
So, 10:55. Go ahead.
Take turns and don't interrupt each other. Simple.
If there's a 2-second silence, I'm going to assume that that's my invitation to speak.
It wasn't a 2-second silence. You interrupted.
Yes, there was. Replay the tape.
Come on, then. Let's start again.
No problem. So, we have gas pressure. Agreed?
That's a 5-second pause there. I think.
Yeah, it had a bloody question mark.
You were asked
Agreed.
a question, man.
Right, but even still, I can't tell if you guys are actually letting a person talk or not. It's real frustrating. So
go ahead, sir.
There is gas pressure. Anytime there's a gas, there's some pressure.
Excellent.
So, yes.
Excellent. So we understand that if we...
Continue.
Yeah, okay. So we understand that we have to have it pressing on something. That's what pressure is.
False.
Nathan, we need the definition on screen.
No. It's okay. That's the point. I'm happy. Hold on.
Come on.
Hold on. Oh, God, can everyone shut up for a second? So, false. Okay. Why would that be false?
Good.
That's your cue, mate.
This is your cue, mate.
Mr. Teacher, what's your name? Mr. Teacher,
Chad
what's your
doesn't
name?
even know how to have a conversation. He's
on,
asked a question, he stays quiet. But somebody else is talking, he wants to be all over it.
Has he been muted? Has he been muted?
No. There might be something going off in the class.
Oh, he's acting like an ass.
Try and keep it calm. Try and keep it calm.
Yeah, try and keep it calm, but don't let him overspeak either.
No, just be reasonable.
I'm so dying for a wee, man. I
Okay,
just
I'm back.
don't want to go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're back.
All right. So where I left off before somehow I was disconnected.
We have gas pressure, and you agreed.
Right. Gas pressure. Gas. Yeah. See, when you say we have gas pressure, that's not a very clear statement.
All right. The medium that we exist in is pressurized.
14.7 psi. Correct.
That would be accurate at sea level. Yes.
Correct.
At sea level.
Yes. Okay. So we have our first concession. I hadn't even got to my point. So
there's no concession. There's agreement. See, you got to stop doing that.
Oh, hang on.
Concession when there's no dispute so far.
Well, why the hell did you disagree then?
Yeah,
We're breathing gas pressure.
You understand that you just agreed.
Can't make out what you're
saying. You just agreed to the exact point that he's been trying to make from when you got here.
No,
we spent 10 minutes arguing about pressure and gas pressure. You just agreed to it.
False.
We have gas pressure.
False.
Dude,
right?
Mate, but the guy that's making the point is a major point. There's no point making it 3 times. Just let him answer.
He's saying false.
I agreed to something I did not agree to.
So he's saying false.
Yes, because you guys are saying something that's false. I mean, why do we have to play these games?
Well,
I did not agree that we breathe.
So you asked a question, then you didn't shut up. So you ask a question, and then you don't shut up afterwards. So why did you ask a question? Why is it that you ask a question and then don't shut the fuck up afterwards? You asked a question, dipshit. Hello, dipshit. Hello, you asked a question. So are you going to ask and answer your question? Is this a one-sided conversation where you get to ask a question and then not answer it? We don't get to answer your question, right? You get to throw a question out and then answer it for us? Asshole?
I did not agree to your original point.
So we don't have gas pressure?
Then counter the argument with your point.
Thank you.
And then we shall listen to it. And
no problem. So clarify. You disagree. We don't have...
I'll do it.
What's your name, dude?
So we don't...
My name's John.
Oh, God.
Go for it.
Jay, my friend, Jay, you're not helping. Thank you. So
20 seconds without interruption. Y'all can't do that. Y'all can't give a person 20 seconds without interrupting.
Well, I want to get clarity. Yeah, we need to get clarity on the point first.
20 seconds starts.
Yeah, you're not giving anybody any seconds. You keep talking. So, to clarify, we don't have gas pressure according to you.
Just waiting to talk.
What's the question?
You know what you should do for me, since I'm such a hard person to deal with and all that nonsense? You can just say something like "go ahead" at the end of your comment. That way I'll know.
No problem. So we don't have gas pressure. Go ahead.
We do have gas pressure.
Excellent. That's my point, you absolute idiot. That's the point I asked you. Now you shut up. Not me tell you 5 times. Now you shut up. That was the first step I looked for concession on. Now you can't shut your stupid mouth. Now you keep talking. Now you keep talking. You asked us for what our points were. I've got 1 step in a concession, and now you can't shut your mouth. My God, what is your problem?
Do not breathe gas pressure.
Right. In the medium that we exist, there is gas pressure. You both agree. Right.
But we don't breathe the pressure, we breathe the gas.
Forget that point. Forget that
and gas has pressure.
I want to move.
This guy is an asshole. This isn't even the point we want to make, but you want to argue it anyway because you're an asshole.
To manipulate the conversation by misusing terms.
I haven't even made my point yet. I literally haven't even made my point yet. I've looked for a concession and you've agreed. We have gas pressure and you still can't shut up. You've asked us to do something. We're trying and you can't shut your stupid mouth.
That's true. Nobody's shutting up.
You make a point that's false. Try to railroad the other person into accepting it.
I haven't even made my point yet. I'm not railroading you into anything. You accept we have gas pressure. Now you can't shut your mouth. You just continually talking.
Then I'm automatically saying no. That ends that game right there.
We're not playing any games. We haven't even made a point yet.
Nathan. Right, make your point, Nath.
So
me?
No, you have asked us to give us your points. I've pointed out that we... Are you going to start talking again? So, you've asked us to give us evidence and points for your kids, apparently, despite the fact that your behaviour is...
I asked for 3 questions.
Oh, you are going to talk again. What an absolute arsehole. You are literally an arsehole.
Lying. I don't like liars.
Yet you haven't even heard a point yet.
Terrible.
I didn't ask for 3 points. I asked for 3 questions.
Wow, God.
Yeah, I know.
Can the kids hear us right now, Globe? Hey, Globe, can the kids hear us right now? Can the kids hear us?
No, that's because the kids are on a different channel, and I know how to mute myself, unlike you guys. You guys keep talking and interrupting and interfering. It's real simple. I do not believe we breathe gas pressure. I believe we breathe gas.
That's not the point. That's not the point. You haven't even heard the point, and you're arguing about a non sequitur.
That's a very important point.
No, it's not. You're not making the point, you bonehead, so it's not very important. I need you to concede, and you still can't shut up. Before we even get to make a point, you're rumpusing the shit for 20 minutes. You are a dick.
We have
I don't care about your insults, my friend.
Because you're a dick. Because we haven't even made our example yet. You've asked a question. Now let me answer it without talking.
I know, Nathan. I know he's tough. We have gas pressure. We can both agree. Nathan, can you now do the next point, please?
Right. In order to have gas pressure, the necessary antecedent is a container for that pressure to press upon. Now, in your religion, you have a vacuum of space. This defies the second law of thermodynamics. High pressure will flow to low pressure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. To your first point, we do not need a container to have gas pressure. You need a force placed upon it, or it responds to. That is not.
Hold on, don't just say no. Shut up and let him talk. Hold on, can you shut up and let him reply?
That's what I'm saying, man. You said go ahead. I'm trying to go ahead, and you guys are jumping in.
I helped to stop that. So
Ranty.
Carry on.
Please.
Me
All
too.
right.
Go ahead, John.
So pressure is not simply reflective of being in a container, but that goes into the bigger issue of not acknowledging gravitational or other forces that are not physically tangible. The second law of dynamics does not apply here. Okay?
Sorry,
if you have a force, whether it be gravity, electromagnetism, the strong force, the weak force, if those affect a particle or a bunch of particles, then that energy from those forces has an effect which will, in the case of pressure of a gas, which are atoms, protons, neutrons, and electrons, those forces will have an impact on where those atoms are in a space. Therefore, a container, being a physical object of atoms that has a surface for which the gas would be contained within, is not absolutely necessary. It can be a factor. You can have a container, and that container can be designed to, be, I guess, oriented or created or adjusted to increase pressure. But having a gas with an amount of pressure in it is not absolutely requiring a container to be created around it. I've tried to be as clear as possible at this point. I think you guys understand.
Okay, so, thank you. So can you demonstrate this force that you assert of gravity, which we'll get to in a moment, maintaining gas pressure without a container? Can you demonstrate that for us, please?
Yes. You ready?
Go ahead.
You're looking at it. You're looking through it. You're standing amongst it.
I thought he was actually going to do something. Sorry.
Well, here's the thing. You're on the other side of the planet, and you can't see. Damn. You can't see.
Sorry. Maybe you didn't understand my question.
Yeah. No, I did understand. Can I please finish?
Well, you've now got us to conceptualize being on the other side of a planet. So
I understand that. Let me finish.
Sorry. No. The word I used was demonstrate. And you're now getting us to conceptualize. That's why I'm interrupting you.
There it is. You have to conceptualize. You're not standing.
Excuse me. Then you didn't understand my question. I will repeat it if you will let me without talking over me for the next 10 minutes.
Okay, well, don't talk over me when you ask.
I am going to talk when I choose. This is my show. Do we have to do this again? Right. So, your assertion with a conceptualization is not a demonstration of gas pressure being maintained without a container by way of gravity.
False.
Okay. So I will ask again. No, it's okay. You don't need to just say false. Stop. Stop.
Yes. And I told you to look around you.
Asshole. Hello.
Okay.
Stop.
Well, hang on.
Stop.
What's the difference?
Stop. Stop.
So when I say
Shut up. Can somebody pepper his mute button? Because literally, he will not shut up. So can someone pepper his mute button? Just mute this asshole. Mute this asshole, please. Right, asshole. I have asked for a demonstration. You have said false. Yeah, thank you. So
raise your voice when I'm trying to respond.
No, I've asked for a demonstration, not a response.
You want to be an asshole and respond with such a agitation in your voice? I will respond in the same way. You lower your voice, I lower mine. You're the host. Set the example.
Okay, so the assertion that you say that we're looking at it right now, would that not also apply if we was in a contained atmosphere?
Yes, also.
Right, okay. So wait a minute. So
guys, let a person respond.
No, he hasn't finished.
No,
No, he has not finished. Hello. He hadn't finished talking.
It takes too short of a time for you guys to interrupt. It does allow for use of a container, but it's not exclusive to the use of a container. That's my point.
Right, okay. So we all agree that the belief that we have that we're in an enclosed system is absolutely accurate. There can be no denying that a container... Wait a minute.
No, I don't agree to that.
Just let me finish. A container can hold pressure, right? So if we say that we're in a pressurized system by virtue of it being an enclosed system, that to every intents and purposes can be demonstrated by anybody right now who wanted to go out and get a fish tank and fill it up and pressurize it or whatever, right? Everybody can do that. But when we ask when we ask for your proof, or you are able to demonstrate pressure being held around a surface or in a location without a container, you cannot do that. You just asked us to look at something, and we say, well, we've already proved that environment can exist in a pressurized system.
Right.
When we ask for your proof of the pressurized system via gravity, you just basically say something that we can hijack and say is our position.
Well, may I respond to that?
Sure.
In order for you to hijack that position, you have to prove, the proof is on you now.
Why?
I'm about to explain it. You have to prove that the system outside, the air outside that you walk through when you're outside, that is a closed pressurized system. In essence, you need to show me the container.
Sorry, no. Sorry, bear with me. Can I just respond to that, please? Sorry, bear with me a second. You didn't listen to what I asserted. The necessary...
No. I'm responding to the other guy right now.
So I don't get to respond. You're just going to talk non-stop while you assert your position. Non-stop. Over and over again, over top of everybody, right? No. Shut up. I'm now talking. Hello. That means shut up.
I don't care what you're saying.
Yeah, that's the problem. You have no concern for anyone else's point of view.
More sensible, and we can disagree without the disrespect.
Nobody can take you seriously because you can't have a conversation.
Okay, so
nobody could take you seriously.
So we could get 1,000 people, and we could get 1,000 containers, and we could pressurize every single one of them.
Yeah.
Right. And everyone would be a pressurized system, and then we could ask you to do the same without a container, and you wouldn't be able to prove it. That's our point.
That's not a valid point, though.
Yes, it is. That's the point we're making.
Dude, be quiet. I'm talking
right, that is the last chance. You do not tell me to get quiet. You are an asshole who has just obfuscated this entire show. You complete asshole. All that guy did was come here and obfuscate and shout and cause issues. He's not interested in listening to any response. He wants to deny that we actually have gas pressure for 20 whole minutes. Just an asshole.
That guy was the definition of troll.
Well,
I just want to spit the rhetoric out.
Do you know when you hear these snowflakes that go off on one? They're entitled snowflakes. That's how he came across.
Are we live? Exactly.
I think so.
Nathan, are we live? Oh my.
No, we're not live.
I think it's going to be on the after show. It'll definitely be on the after show. But the point still remains that we can literally go out and demonstrate pressure with a container as many times as we want, and when we ask them for their proof of pressure without a container,
just look around. You're looking through it.
Yeah, but that's how. Yeah, I mean, come on, would it not apply to us as well? that we're in a pressurized system, you know.
Yeah, well,
so how can you say that? Now, we can demonstrate that we can hold pressure in a container. Can you demonstrate that you can't hold pressure in a container?
Right, that was
But
the
problem
question that he
with somebody
obfuscated.
like that, you see how he took all that time just to differentiate gas pressure and gas.
That was the point I was trying to make, Ranty, and he obfuscated it for 20 whole minutes when I tried to get him to get the concession that we do actually have gas pressure, which we obviously do, and from the off, he wanted to obfuscate even that before I even made my point. Now he's gone, you've managed to make it for me in about 25 seconds, but he wouldn't even let us get to that point. And every step of the way, he's not making any concessions for anything. He's just talking over absolutely everybody, telling us that, no, we don't have gas pressure here. We're not breathing gas pressure. Oh, right.
He actually said that gravity is physically tangible.
Well,
when he was talking about it, and I went, how can gravity be physically tangible? What is this guy on about? He's word salading.
He also redefined the definition of gas pressure.
Yeah, he decided that it was applicable to some force.
He said it doesn't need to by definition, it does.
I go to the toilet, I come back and he's gone. Oh, I missed it, damn it.
Yeah, I can understand Nathan. I mean, maybe you should say it a little bit different when you say we breathe gas pressure. Maybe you should say the air we breathe is pressurized.
Nah.
Or
I don't care. It doesn't make any. It doesn't. I mean, you're nitpicking.
It doesn't matter that the air that we breathe is pressurized or not. What matters is that it's a gas.
Yeah.
And pressure.
Gas is by definition pressure.
By virtue that we live in a pressure, you know, everything that we have is pressurized. We, you know, technically we do breathe gas pressure, but I can understand why he got a little bit frustrated about that.
But the problem is that at least even all the other Globers that come in, they understand what we're trying to say, right?
Yeah,
they understand the point. So they try to obfuscate with, oh, it's a gradient, right? But this guy couldn't even get the difference between pressure and gas.
Well, it was the way he came in, and he said, I've had enough about this. I've come in and I've got my students listening here, and I'm a teacher, and I'm gonna shut you idiots up. I'm gonna
ask us if you want to be in his class, like, you know.
I'm gonna shut you all up because I've had enough of this.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine your kids and saying, "Sorry guys, I got kicked."
Oh my god, that was crazy.
I mean, we didn't even get to any of the juicy stuff like molten.
No, we didn't. We couldn't.
Gravity.
The guy doesn't know how to have a conversation. I'm sorry. I mean, Alan B can have a better conversation than this guy. Like, it's ridiculous.
I'm going to use that as my opportunity to round out for the Nathan Oakley audience. So if you are watching this on Nathan Oakley channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with all the Flat Earth debate pre-show and after-show goodness. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!